Yeah. Welcome in. Welcome back to a special episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. And I know it's Friday night, and normally we do our lives on Wednesday and Saturdays. But as I told you, sometimes we're going to go live at different times to do different things. And tonight is one of those nights. As you can see, G's not here, but we got another special guest. We got our main man, Q, host of the Opinion Stated podcast. What's good, Q?
What's good, fellas? Glad to be here, man. Let's go.
All right. And tonight, what we're gonna do, y'all, I'm sure you've seen from the thumbnail already, if you've clicked on it, and as well, you see from the rundown. What we are gonna do is, with the NBA season starting on Tuesday night, we are going to do a 2024-25 NBA season preview, the Format Podcast style. But before we get into that, we'll go ahead, take a couple minutes, see if some more people, excuse me, are going to pop up in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and go from there. Yeah, man. So it's good to have you, Q, man. What's going on, man? What's going on? I know you're excited for the start of the NBA season.
Hey, apparently he's not that excited. So
right. He rolled out. Cheated on you.
He beat it. He said, "Nah, I'm out of here." No, you guys.
I know you're excited. Laker Nation, what's good, brother? What's good? Transform. I know you're excited too. I was about to say, I see you over here, man, all draped in orange and gold, man. Am I the only person on the show who attempts to be? I'm sorry, purple and gold. Pardon me, I'm bugging.
Damn.
But am I the only person on the show that attempts to be objective?
Knock me out of there.
Hey, I'm objective, right? I'm gonna represent my team to the fullest. Okay, all right. Win, lose, or draw, baby. It's Laker Nation or die. I advise you to choose Laker Nation, baby. Let's go. But Q, how you been? How you feeling, brother? I think it's going through a little technical difficulties over there.
Yeah, it happens. Oh,
are we? I think he had a speaker on him because I think.
Yeah, I think you got to mute that thing. Sorry, everybody. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here with Q, but it's all good. That'll give us the opportunity to let a couple more people get in here.
Is the audio coming from
Check.
Yeah, I heard you.
All right, bet.
There we go.
Yeah,
I think we got
it, man.
Say again.
I was trying to get the sign going, and it knocked me out.
Got you. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, yeah. So we are gonna definitely we're gonna go over this NBA season preview, and like I said, my man Q, he's gonna lead this. This is his baby, and as I was saying, I know he's super excited about the upcoming NBA season. So before we get started, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't. Okay, looks like we lost Q again, man. That's tough.
What's up with this, man? Celtics have 18 banners. You're behind. What is that about?
I was.
Who are you talking to? Nobody said anything about. Nobody said. All he said, I see the Kobe jersey in the background. No. My man wasn't being disrespectful. Okay, no, my man was just observing the background of what Q had in his background.
I'm just
Celtics got 18 banners. You're behind. Can't talk till you catch up.
I'm just saying, if that was me, I would have to sit silently in the corner, like a loser until I could catch up. You know what I'm saying? I would sit and wait my turn while the big boys talk,
All right, yeah, whatever. I don't want to hear all that. We ain't trying to hear all that.
Okay. I mean, Oh, looks like we lost opinion stated. Listen, I'm sorry, everybody. We're definitely having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are working to get this resolved. So please bear with us while we do that. Laker Nation that says who has more since 87. We're not talking about that, man.
Yeah,
We're not talking about that, man.
Them Bill Russell back in the
talking about the
1930
totals.
championships.
You think Jerry West cares about who has more since 87? God bless the day.
I mean, at this point, he up in heaven chilling, so he don't care about nothing right now.
You know what I just thought about? You know what would be so ill?
What's
if
that?
Freaking Mr. Russell and the rest of the Celtics greats are up there and they running fives against Jerry and Wilt and them. How ill would that
absolutely.
be? That right? Oh,
Absolutely.
You know
I'm
what?
pretty sure Kobe giving somebody the business right now.
Yes.
Giving them the business.
Ooh.
Oh, you said that when you think it's hard for us to survive back in that era?
Right?
Baby, please.
Right.
I'm Baby Jordan out here. What you mean?
Man, listen. Man, Kobe, Jerry West. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. Wilt and any two others.
Hey, you know Bill up there talking cash.
You already know.
Cash.
You already know. Wow.
Hey, what did he say at the whose Hall of Fame was that? Thought. When he was like, he counted them all out. He counted Shaq, Charles, and he was like, "I'll bust all y'all asses."
Who said that?
Oh, bro, you remember that?
No, Mr. Russell said that.
Yeah, bro. He it was, I forget what award, it was an award or something. And Bill walked up to the mic and he counted and like he started pointing at him like, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll kick all y'all's asses. Like, bro, and everybody went crazy laughing, bro. It was like, yo, that's Bill right there.
Yeah, that would be.
I'm gonna find that for you, and I'm gonna send that to you, man. But yes, that's Mr. Russell, bro.
Yeah, man. I can't even imagine the greatness of the games that's going on up there, man.
Boy, we just can't wait to be a spectator.
No, I could wait.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll take that back.
But God willing, one day that's going to be a wonderful thing to be able to just sit back in the bleachers up there and just watch those games, man. There's got to be some incredible runs. You know what?
I wonder is God charging tickets up there? What's the ticket prices going
for? I don't know. But I tell you what, though, man, listen, mess around. The Mamba going to have Gigi running point out that joint.
Boy, look.
What?
Listen, Don.
Man, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh, man. So, here we go. So, look, so now Mr. Russell could play with Bill Walton, and that's our Twin Towers, bro. Yeah.
Still getting cooked by the Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 7, as much as I hate to say it. Lakers in 7. We don't have anybody that can deal with the Mamba.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah, nobody. No, Lakers in 7. Lakers in 7.
Lakers in 5.
You're not getting it in 5, because
Lakers in 5.
Mr. Russell,
Mr. Russell, want to tussle. I love the hustle. Lakers in 5.
Oh man, that's a jeez.
How Bill Russell did it. Lakers in 5.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna find that clip, man. I'm gonna go ahead and search for that clip right now, man. That's a funny clip.
Oh man! All right, we ready? Opinion stated. You good, Q?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I should be simulcasting right now, man. I don't know why I kept trying to knock me out instead of going in there, but I had to log in, log back out again, so it should be all right now, hopefully.
Okay.
You sound good. Pause.
Yeah, if my folks can see, you know what I mean, the dual broadcast, man. Welcome to the show for tonight, and man, collaborating with the Format Podcast bros, Transformers in here, and Bruce, and let's get that. We got NBA basketball coming up, man. I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
Get it.
Who's your team, by the way? Who's your team?
So you know what's crazy, man, is I mentioned this to you before. If I had to have a team, and I don't anymore, right? I don't necessarily do fandom that way, but I'm an old school New Jersey Nets fan from Derek Coleman, Drazen Petrovic, Chris Morris, you know what I mean? Chris Dudley, those there. Scott Skiles was there like a long time ago, bro. But these are more a basketball fan, but I'm still affectionate to the Nets. So even when Durant and them went over, when Vince and them was there, man, competing for championships, I still root for them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so if I had to have a team, it would be them. But they the bottom of the barrel of the East now, man. So it don't even.
Oh no, definitely.
Why you bring stuff, man. You see what you just did, Transformer?
What?
The wounds, bro.
No, I'm curious because I mean, obviously, I have my Lakers gear on. I'm a diehard Lakers fan, been that way since '96. But you have the reason why I became a fan in your background in Kobe Bean Bryant. So that's why I wanted to just elaborate to the viewers. Okay, who is this team? Because they're automatically like, no, here, Kobe fan. But I see a Carmelo jersey. So
there you go. Kobe and Melo back here. That's because they're my guys, man. Like Bean was special, man. He's different. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can call yourself a basketball fan, period, and not be a fan of Kobe Bryant. I look at everybody sideways, not a fan of Kobe, bro. Kobe was he was a different animal. I almost dislike it when people compare Kobe to Mike and they use it as a way to disrespect Kobe by being like, well, he was the second coming of Jordan, so it don't really count, because it's like you're not acknowledging how dope this dude was, bro, by doing that. And I don't like it, bro. So, but I love me some Kobe, man. Kobe was that dude was one of them ones, bro, for sure.
I do like it, man. When you're a Laker and you can garner the respect of the entire Boston Celtic fandom nation, I think you did it. I think you did it, man. I mean, you know, our rivalry goes back into ancient times that before all of us were even born, even thought of. And to have, you know, by the time he retired, you know, even Celtics are like, bro, salute that. But we had problems with that dude. we couldn't wait for him to retire and get out of the NBA because, boy, we got nervous. Y'all crept up to 15 championships, 16, and it was like, oh snap, y'all might take it over. So when he retired, they were like, thank you, baby Jesus.
Wow. So real quick,
Bruce,
Q. Say again, man.
Bruce, you're a Boston fan, huh?
Die hard, man. Since I was 8 years old, 1986, bird waving the towel in the garden. Wow, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. No, what I was gonna say is those people, you said that anybody who says they're a basketball fan and don't respect Kobe, you got a problem with them. But there are a lot of people who will try to convince you of that. But the truth is they're really LeBron fans. And what they're doing is they have to take shots at Kobe to try and lift him up. It's what they do. That's what it is. Like, you look in the comments right now. You see Bruiser Sue, Kobe to Timu Jordan. You know what that is. Bruce is a LeBron guy.
Bruce, man. Come on, Bruce. It'd be hard to defend the king, right? Not my king, all right? The king. When we saying stuff like this, man. Damn. I quit, bro. I'm logging off, bro. Y'all got it.
What'd you say, Transformer? Not my king. Not my king.
Not my king. Not my king. Let me tell y'all about my king and the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
All right,
let's you don't know that joke. You got to get game on that joke.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, man, Kobe was that guy. So I can appreciate what Kobe brought to the game of basketball. You know what I mean? I was never a Laker fan. Never in my life. You know what I mean? But, you know.
Don't say it like that. It sounded disrespectful.
No, I'm just saying, but I just respect game. And that's all.
Okay.
I mean, so like we were having a conversation. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? I'm D.C. to the heart. And so by nature, by virtue of being from D.C., even though there are a lot of Cowboys fans, oddly enough, in D.C.
Crazy word.
You know what I mean? I'm Redskins, bro. It's I can't even help it. It's just in me. You know what I mean?
Commanders. I want to get canceled.
Well, Commanders. You know what I mean? Now, right? see how deep it runs with me? I can't even Redskins, man. The Skins. So I just say the Skins, right?
That's better. That's better.
But even in as these Cowboy fans like to hang on, and I know this is an NBA show. We're gonna get to the NBA in a second, but I just want to say this for emphasis. Cowboy fans hang on to the glory years, and then in the 90s, when they had Emmett, Aikman, you know what I mean? Out on one side, your man, the big coke snorter on the other side.
Michael Irvin.
They know out the backfield too. Moose, bro, they was incredible, bro.
Yeah.
They were incredible. I watched because, one, they were on TV every single week, but secondarily because they were just good on both sides of the football. So
absolutely,
if you're a football fan, it's like, bro, this is how football is played when you put a great team together, man. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of the games, bro. I'm just a fan of sports, man. So it doesn't matter who it is. I don't hate on folks just because they play on the opposing team. If I like you, bro. If you're a good sports, you know what I mean, a good sportsman, you're a good sportsman. You're a great athlete. So
I love it, man. I love it. Pretty much everything you just said about the Cowboys, man. That's what Jerry Jones is holding on to dearly.
Right.
And I think he needs to let that baby go.
That glory.
He needs to let it go.
Yeah.
What you did back in the 90s, bro, it's okay.
That's
let it
done.
go. Let it go. Let
Hey,
it
yo,
go.
Bruce, you got to follow that with a pause and no Diddy something, man. Cut that out, man. That's terrible. What are we doing?
That's greatness. Oh,
what are we doing?
Yeah,
what are
Bruce,
we
that
doing?
did sound crazy. It did look a little crazy. But anyway, man, we're gonna get on to the good stuff. Man. We got Q here today. We're gonna talk a lot about a lot of good things about basketball, a lot of bad things about basketball. We're gonna try to keep this conversation minimal when it comes to any type of GOAT debate.
We're not doing that. Tonight is not
Thank God. All right, because Q don't like it. I don't like it. Bruce loves to bring it up. But we're gonna move on over. All right.
Not another GOAT debate video.
No, please no. Please no. But Q, man, what you got for us? We got the Beast of the East. I'm gonna let you take it from here, brother.
That's about So as far as I'm concerned, and Bruce and I were having a conversation offline about this a couple days ago. So I think that the Celtics return back to the top of the East. I think that they are the premier of the East. And, they are definitely the team, obviously, not just because they won the championship last year. Obviously, a person could look at it and say, well, they won the championship, so, of course, they'll be the target of everybody, right? But it's not just that. They are the class of the Eastern Conference because of the talent that they have, the team that they have, and by virtue of how long they've actually played together. So I think that they are the most seasoned collection of players in the Eastern Conference. They finally got it together. I'm old enough to remember when folks were going on TV saying, I think it's time to break up. You know what I mean? I think it's time to break up Brown and Tatum. And you know what I mean?
Still having that conversation.
Which is weird, right? It's really, really strange because it takes time, man, for everybody to figure it out. And they figured it out as a mob. And so I think that they're the class of the Eastern Conference. I have them returning back to the upper echelon of the East year. I have them as the class East. I don't know what you all think about that, but I know what Bruce thinks about it anyway. But what about you, Transform? What do you think about Boston?
Thank you for asking me first, all right, because I don't want this man's head to get any bigger than what it is. If not, we're gonna have to blow up his screen to make sure we move over to the side. So anyway, when we get over to your question here, Q, I think the talk of the biggest talk is that whether or not they're going to repeat. I don't believe that they're going to repeat, right? I think that, and even Bruce can attest to this, and he's done a great job of saying it, that they had a little bit of an easier schedule as far as teams to play when it came to the playoffs, that all of the competition either got hurt or eliminated or both, right? So they didn't really face any real adversity until they got to the NBA Finals, and then they did a great job of battling the Dallas Mavericks, I believe, in the finals. Their first time being there as well. Well, not even as well as the Boston, because that's their second time being there as a teammate. But I don't see them being repeaters, but I do see them finishing at minimum top 3 in their Eastern Conference because of the continuity. I mean, they do have the most continuity of the entire bunch. The Knicks, as you guys can see, that they're still piecing guys together. Milwaukee's trying to figure it out. Like, they were very injured last year, especially when it came to the playoffs, when you lost Giannis and you lost Lillard, excuse me. And then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, the 76ers, who just got Paul George. So a lot more continuity with that team. They kind of got that, hey, we can stick together, run this thing back, and we can get this thing done. Another year with Drew Holiday, another year with Kristaps Porzingis. Al Horford is still coming back. So you guys are coming back pretty much at full strength that you guys just won the championship with. And you just came off of winning an Olympic ring together. Granted, it was 2 of y'all together with it, but that's still a little bit more continuity of being on the court together. 3 players that were in there. Should have been 4.
Should have been.
Correction. Correct. Should have been 4, but I agree with you.
To jump right in where you are, bro, not to cut you off, but that's exactly why I think they return back to the upper echelon of the East. It's by virtue of that continuity that you're talking about, and also because of how well chemistry y'all work together, bro. So this is not an experiment with them. This is a year. These brothers taking some time to get here. So I believe that they return, back to the tops of the East, and they actually will defend their championship. You know what I mean? This year, I think they'll be the first team to defend in a while.
Oh, like that. All right, Bruce, we'll let you speak.
So, Transformer, no, this may surprise you, man. And Q and I, we did discuss this offline. And I'm the big guy. One of my favorite lines is two things can be true, right? And I truly believe that, especially in this case, right? So one of the things that I've said pretty much since last season ended, and then with the Olympics and all that G loves to point to, is with Jason Tatum kind of his Olympic experience, especially after what he was able to accomplish last year, finally becoming a champion, third straight year as first team All NBA, etc. And with Jaylen Brown being snubbed from the Olympics and not making any All NBA selections or regular season awards, despite the player that he's become. I think both of those guys really have a lot of incentive, and this may be the impetus for that team to go on something of a revenge tour, right? Yeah. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, as you mentioned, Transformer, and this is something that we both wholeheartedly agree on, the Celtics caught a ton of breaks throughout that playoff run last year. Now, the Warriors at times caught breaks going through the playoffs, but I don't know that I've ever seen a playoff run resulting in a championship like what the Celtics did last year. Everybody, to your point, either got injured or eliminated. And so the Celtics had one of the easier runs to a title ever, despite the fact that, in fairness, they were arguably the best team in the league all year.
No, absolutely.
Right. And to Q's point, I do believe that this is a team that will have, obviously barring injuries, of course, have a lot of success this year, remain one of the top teams in the East. But I honestly have a hard time seeing them repeating as champion. Now, that said, I also can't at this point identify who might be the team that can beat them and knock them out in the East. Obviously, we'll see as the season goes on and develops. But I just think it's going to be hard to repeat knowing that they weren't necessarily tested. That said, back to the other side of the coin, I'll say there's also something to now knowing what it takes to win and having the quote unquote championship medal, right? Having tasted the champagne, right? And especially, and Transformer knows this being a Laker guy, and I'm a Celtics guy. We know that for our teams, when a guy wins his first title, okay, now you can walk into the house, right? You don't have to stand in the yard anymore. But there's still a lot of rooms you can't get into, right? Only having one. And so now these guys are saying, okay, Mr. Russell has 11 and Bird has 3 and so on and so forth. And now if we get another one, we can pass Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Those guys were great Celtics, but we can pass them if we can get another one. And now we can maybe really start carving our legacy in, a top 2 franchise all time in the history of the game. And so I think these are things, those motivating factors are going to be something special for the Celtics. And to Q's point earlier, and I'll wrap with this, like you guys both said, the continuity that they have, the slow cook that the Celtics organization went through, because this is such a microwave society now, and it has kind of passed over to sports, and especially too with free agency and with the super teams, we kind of feel like, okay, just throw a bunch of stars together, they'll make a run at the chip. But no, the Celtics did the old-fashioned way. They drafted, they developed. Of course, their front office made trades as well, but they drafted, they developed, and we saw over time multiple appearances in the conference finals and then a finals appearance, which they lost, and then they finally got over the hump. So there's something to be said for all of that experience, all of that continuity, and now finally knowing what it takes to win and get championships. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the Celtics got back in the finals. And I know this is kind of like flip-flopping, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. You know what I mean? Brandon Bryce was good. NBA sucks compared to NFL most times. Yeah, listen, I totally get it, B, and I agree with you on that. But this is an NBA preview show for the season, man. We got to do this. So work with me here, brother. Work with me. But I feel you. I know what you mean.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna say to B Bryce, and I can appreciate that too as a sports fan, because I was telling Bruce a few days ago on a phone call that I put the NFL down for a while. You know what I mean? Just through disappointment of a lot of the rule changes and kind of some of the things that I saw that I didn't like, that took away from the integrity of the NFL that I fell in love with. And I'm feeling the same way about the NBA. So Bruce Bryce, I mean Brandon Bryce, I can be touched by exactly what you're saying, bro. But I want to say one thing on what Bruce was saying, right? So not only and to bring together snowball, kind of what Transformer was saying. Not only the continuity, right, that we agree on, but I think if there was a time for Boston to lose and continue to losing, it would have been last season when they seemingly put it all together. It requires a certain amount of luck for everybody at some point to, you know what I mean? I mean, a championship run is magical, bro. You know what I mean? So you have to have a lot of things and a lot of teams, every team almost, you can go back and search through all the history of championships where you will see injuries come into play for certain teams. And what would have happened if this player didn't get hurt, or if this player didn't get dinged up? Like, what would have happened if Brooklyn, if Kyrie doesn't go down with that ankle injury because of Giannis getting under him, you know what I mean? And then Harden coming up with that with the hamstring, KD's foot being too long on the line still, which would have given him time to kind of heal up a little bit. So it's all these what ifs that always happen, and you need that certain amount of luck, you know what I mean, to fall in your favor. But I think that, again, if there was a time for them to lose and not to finally, you know, step up and rise to the occasion, it would have been last season. They losing Ime Udoka, I thought, was going to be the thing that kept them down, and they did not lose Ime. You know what I mean? Or rather, they did stride after Ime. They, you know what I mean, inserting a brand new coach, bro. You know what I mean? Figuring it out. You know what I mean? So big ups to them. And I think that with the snubs in the Olympics, which you guys mentioned,
yep,
you know, Jaylen Brown, with Tatum going over there, not getting the rec that he wanted, being disrespected, downright disrespected over there. I think that gives an extra little chip that they otherwise may not have had. You know what I mean? So more incentive to come in here and really get it done, bro. So I think that for those reasons, we're going to see, you know what I mean, these brothers really come out, man, and put it all together this year. And not to mention, they also were without Porzingis for a majority of the season last year, and they'll be without him after January. So I think that they will be
really. What happened?
The surgery and recovery. So he's getting himself back in shape.
Damn, right. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same. So same as last year in that regard, where, like Bruce said, they were arguably not tested, you know what I mean, a lot, and they were arguably, you know what I mean, the best in the league, period. You know what I mean? I caught $100 bet from a homie, you know what I mean, just that they were the class, because he's a, you know what I mean, a Milwaukee fan. He was like, man, y'all sweating Boston, yada yada. Now, you know, again, I don't like Boston, but I'm saying I trust what I see.
Yeah.
And so I trust what I see from last year and what they're bringing back this year enough to still keep them. I'm not Vegas, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to go crazy trying to make anybody else a favorite over the defending champions until the defending champions show me otherwise. But I don't see any reason why they should take a step back, honestly.
Fair enough. Let's go ahead and let's move on from the Celtics, and let's we don't have to run down the entire East, but we saw a number of moves that Eastern Conference competitors made to try and narrow the gap between themselves and the defending champions, and, you know, possibly knock the Celtics off of that perch. And I'll say the first one will go to the mega trade, Karl Anthony Towns coming over from the Western Conference with the T-Wolves and coming back home to New York. He grew up a Knicks fan. He's a Jersey kid. And so, you know, like a lot of Knicks, like a lot of young New York kids, it's probably a dream come true to put on that Knicks uniform and suit up and call Madison Square Garden your home arena. So I'll start with Transformer here. Transformer, what are your thoughts about this move? What do you think it can do for the Knicks in terms of making the next step? They were one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you know, injuries got them. Obviously, Coach Tibbs' rotation is crazy. Where are you on the Knicks?
I would just like to add. I mean, yes, the Karl Anthony Towns move was a trade move. But don't forget they got Mikal Bridges. Like, that was another key piece in what they did before the Karl Anthony Towns trade. So I think when you look at both in retrospect of what they needed in that Eastern Conference, one, you're trying to be able to guard the 1 and 2 punch of the Denver Broncos, the Boston Celtics. Man, football is right now is on my brain a little bit. but in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So you definitely want to, beef up your defense as far as from a wing standpoint. But now that you're adding Karl Anthony Towns, I think you're adding a piece that you were missing when you guys didn't have Julius Randle in that entire playoff run, right? You need somewhat of a 7-footer to kind of be there, not necessarily be the interior enforcer or the interior defender, but to be there in the post to kind of take some of that pressure off of Jalen Brunson. So Jalen Brunson really last year had to put a lot on his shoulders, and we saw a miraculous showing from him doing so. And then with the helps of Josh Hart and those guys that were right alongside him kind of helped streamline that. But you also got to think you guys, they lost, they're going to be without Mitchell Robinson, I believe his name, the center. So you're going to need that other 7-footer to kind of be there. He drafted
a young kid though that's looks like he's got a ton of upside. So
yeah, I mean, but you're not expecting rookies to come in and expect that championship caliber kind of play.
Maybe not offensively, but what if they can provide some toughness, some rebounding, and some defense? Rookies can do that.
Yeah, they can, but how often do we see it in today's NBA?
Well, you're playing for Coach Tibbs, you better, or you're not going to play, right?
Well, you better be ready to play 48 minutes at any given day.
Last year, keep in mind that one of their bigs was a rookie. You know what I mean? So you can bring a rookie along throughout the process as the season goes on, who gets those reps and he gets more confidence. And as long as they're playing a role, you don't expect a rookie to come in and be the driving force for any team. Wembanyama, for instance, right? You can be good, be great, but you don't expect a rookie to come in and have that huge of a splash that's going to meet or make the difference between the team winning and losing. But contributing, that's a different story.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But like I was saying, I mean, you add them two pieces. I think like I said, you're beefing up to beat Boston, right? Boston is the top dog right now. You're the champion. You're the leaders of the East. Right now, the attention is on you. We have to dethrone you. So where do you go? You go get you a Kristaps Porzingis opposite, Karl Anthony Towns, right? You go get you somebody that can go guard Jaylen Brown to slow him down, Mikal Bridges, right? You already have the firepower of Jalen Brunson. You got the toughness of Josh Hart and those guys. OG Anunoby, can also guard Jason Tatum. So you're piecing everything together because you literally just saw Boston. No matter how they did it, they got to the championship and they won the big thing. So you're kind of replicating that. I do like what they were doing. I was a fan of Julius Randle a while before. While he was a Laker, you kind of saw that dog in him. But it's like, when the rubber meets the road in the playoffs, Julius Randle kind of fades away. In my opinion, not the same guy. And we literally just saw them damn near make a championship run without him. So I think at that point they're like, okay. I said it before the season started or before the offseason started. That man's expendable. Like you're looking at Julius Randle like, bro, you're expendable. Especially when they got Mikal Bridges. I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely expendable. He's on the block. They're just waiting on the right piece. But anyway, that's pretty much what I got for him. I think they're going to be a top 3 opponent as well. I have them, Philly, and the Knicks. They're literally going to be gunning back and forth. Maybe Milwaukee is like a close 3rd or 4th in that rotation. But that's my top 4 right now.
Got you. Real quick, we don't have G in here tonight, but we got our other resident dummy, Baltimore, and apparently he's filling in for G because the Jason Tatum slander has already begun, man.
Who, that Steve?
Nah, this is Bruce.
Oh, okay.
Bruce.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. I don't understand this lack of respect for Tatum, but it's whatever, man.
Yeah.
Tay Bum. Excuse me, Tay Bum.
Well, I'll say to Bruce, even right to Bruce in the chat, that I agree. I'm very high on Brandon Ingram as a player. I love Brandon Ingram as a player, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit. I do think that he and JT are actually closely matched in terms of skill set, etc. But I wouldn't necessarily expect Brandon Ingram to be a number 1 option on any team. So Jason Tatum is showed us, I'll say, through last season. Or through the playoff stint and even ramping up for the playoffs, that maybe he's not that guy who's going to actually lead the team to the promised land by himself. But the good news is they have a very good group of players around him, so he doesn't necessarily have to. You know what I mean? So
we really got to stop expecting guys to be like Mikes and Kobe's, man. That's why those guys were so special, man. The top of the top, the Magics, the Kobe's, the Isaiahs, the Birds, and then on top of
Jimmy
that,
Butlers,
Michael Jordan's. Like,
Jimmy Butler.
We got to stop expecting guys to be that, plain and simple. And just because Tatum is not that, we got to stop taking away from how good that guy is because he's not that. That's all I'm saying, man. The disrespect is absurd. Oh my God, Bruce. How many times have I said it, Bruce? The reason part of the reason, right, is that one, because G's argument was that what's his name? Derek White was taking his minutes, which is not exactly the case, but fine. Even still, you will have a guy like Derek White who's on the floor, can do all the dirty work, but doesn't need the shots, right? So I talked to somebody who's in the know and who knows extremely well. And I'll just say I talked to somebody who spoke specifically to Coach Steve Kerr about this. And a big part of why Tatum didn't get the minutes is because he's not a better or more efficient scorer than LeBron or Kevin Durant. So he wasn't going to get the minutes over those guys at the three. So it was just a lineup situation. I mean, that's all it was. We need to stop taking this as, oh, he didn't play him because he sucks. Like, cut that out, man. That's real infantile and nonsensical, and it just lacks basketball knowledge, but it's all good.
No, and but before you go on that, I'll add a little piece of that. LeBron James is the focal point of that Olympic team offense, right? Jason Tatum doesn't fit in LeBron James's offense. Nope. Why you think Brandon Ingram was a trade piece in LA?
Yep,
because he needs the ball. So, and like you can't be a
thank
three.
You for admitting that, Transformer.
No, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I told you, man. You got to wait till the season starts for me to be objective. You're gonna catch more objectivity about LeBron James, okay? But no, LeBron James, like he dominates the ball. He's the control of the offense. He has a PS5 controller, right? He's controlling everything, right?
Right.
If you look at how Jason Tatum plays, he kind of needs the ball. So a lot of that, he's not a play off the ball type of player. He's the kind of he still does like dirty work things, plays defense, gets rebounds, will assist the rock, but you can't assist the rock if LeBron James is dominating. Then you got Steph Curry in the game at the same time, so it really just didn't work for Tatum to be in that lineup. Period. And then you kind of saw it weighing on him because he's like, okay, well I'm not getting any minutes, I'm not in the starting lineup. Then when he got in the lineup, he couldn't do anything because he's like. AE got in the ball game and AE took over the ball game while Jason Tatum was in it. So it's kind of like that's the only knock I give Jason Tatum for the Olympics is that he didn't maximize his opportunities when he got in the game and he let AE kind of take his shine away. Like, bro, you're the champion. Go get the ball. AE is literally calling for the ball out of bounds. Like, yo, give me the ball. And Jason Tatum kind of just like, whatever. And, played his game. But that's the piece I'll add. It was LeBron's type of offense and Jason Tatum just didn't fit in that offense.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think it takes some sort of basketball genius to know that. And like I said, what I said about why Tatum didn't play, I got that from a very well-placed source who actually spoke to Steve Kerr and was told that. So anybody else has their opinions, that's cool. But Steve Kerr told my source that. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah. I'll say that. I mean, that I think that was very obvious. Like you said, you don't have to be a savant, you know what I mean, to realize, especially if you've watched Jason Tatum play enough to understand that he needs the ball in certain offensive sets, and he into a rhythm. And when you don't have the time to get him into a rhythm of his shots, if he doesn't come right out the gate, because sometimes you see him, he'll come right out the gate, man, and he's ready, he's on fire. Other time it takes him a while. He may go a quarter or two, maybe the first half where he's not even in rhythm at all.
We saw in the finals.
You know what? That starting five docuseries, you know what I mean, kind of indicated as much, that he allows a lot of his off the court family stuff and, you know what I mean, making sure his son and his mom are present before it gives him this confidence to sort of sometimes go out and get it done. And if he's worried about other things, it seeps into his on the court game. And the Olympics was just not space for him to get ramped up. You got to come in there already ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And would have had to have offensive sets run for him to get him in the game, and that just wasn't the space for it. So I agree 100%. What Transformer was saying, I'm in agreement with you as far as the Eastern Conference goes. The top four being, these Knicks are dangerous. I have them finishing at 2 and challenging Boston, potentially for 1. I like the moves that they made. I like the acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns. I don't like that they lost DiVincenzo. I don't like that they Hartenstein, but I do like that they got a chance to, as Bruce said, figure out where Jalen's strength is and where he can better dominate, and get his thing off while still facilitating. And so to bring in a cat when knowing that, you know what I mean, it won't take away from how Jalen needs the ball and how he needs to operate was clutch for the Knicks, man.
Mm-hmm.
That Mikal Bridges signing, my Lord, bro. Like that gives them more of a scoring punch as well from the guard position. Like I said, DiVincenzo is amazing as a basketball player. Heart's gritty. He's going to still do his thing. I think that they lost too much by replacing now DiVincenzo with Mikal Bridges. You bring in a certified bucket who can go out and get it, you know what I mean, whenever, at every level. So, yeah, the Knicks, man, I'm high on the Knicks for this year. If, like you said, if Mitchell Robinson comes back and he's able to offer his presence, his rim protection and rebounding, then that even takes away from some of the softness of Karl Anthony Towns. And when I say softness, I mean Karl likes to operate inside that perimeter as well and doesn't necessarily like to bang down there with the bigs and stay in that space where he is probably best suited to play the game, which is okay. It seems like the Knicks are accepting of what Karl Anthony Towns is as a player, and they understand, hopefully Tibbs, I'm certain that Tibbs will figure out how to make that work inside that New York offense, man. But I'm high on the Knicks as well, bro. Yep.
Yeah.
Quick note before we move on from the Knicks. I will never forgive Mitchell Robinson for this. A couple of years ago, might have been during his rookie season or right after that. I guess he had a really good game, and somebody told him that night he reminded them of Hakeem Olajuwon, and he was like, I don't know who that is. First of all, who would say that? Second of all,
his mama.
For you to be facts, but for you
his
to be
mama.
a quote, NBA big and say you don't know who Dream is, I don't even know what to say, man.
He said he didn't even know who Dream was.
He said he didn't know who he was.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll never forget that.
That's a huge problem. That's
huge
as an
problem.
topic, right? As offline, Bruce was going in on AE, right, on Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And just ignorance of the younger class of players who are coming in. To not know the history, bro, and the recent history of who was in this league dominating before you got here is asinine, bro. It is disrespectful. I think that the NBA needs to put together a better program for educating these kids, man, who came before them, a whole film study session, examination, something, bro. Like, there's no way you cannot know who Hakeem Olajuwon is. It's just impossible. Like, how can you not know as a big? How can you not know, bro? That's weird. You know what I mean? It just sounds crazy, bro. It sounds
Very
crazy. This dude didn't play 70 years ago. He played literally, man, like 20
years ago, yeah.
Hey, bro,
like y'all, you were, well, he wasn't alive. I wouldn't say he was alive yet, but still, like that's relevant information to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Literally, one of the key pieces on why Kobe learned his footwork from. He quotes Dream.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you know, if you're a Kobe fan or if you know who Kobe is, you should know where he got his footwork from. Right? He got a lot of his footwork from training with Dream.
Yeah, and I would say not even
your dream.
Yeah, not to put it just on Kobe. Hakeem has been helping a lot of folks with their footwork. LeBron is noted for having trained with him a few seasons back, you know what I mean, or earlier in his career. So a lot of young players in the league are still working out with him right now.
Yeah,
so for a young boy not to know who he is, man, it's kind of crazy. It's wild. It's like, wow, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy.
No doubt.
Yeah, but from there, you know, the Philadelphia 76ers, moving on to them,
mm-hmm.
I like the moves that they made. I am very, very high on Tyrese Maxey. I think that this kid, man, is just, man, an absolute beast at this game. He is coming along, you know, very well in his development as a young superstar, budding superstar in this league. But what I do not feel most confident about, which is already rearing its head with the even bringing in PG, is that stay healthy. But I thought it was a good move to bring in Paul George because you know that Embiid is not going to be able to give you 100% throughout the season, and neither is Paul George. But I thought that they could kind of offset each other, you know, each other's missed time off the court, and like Paul did in LA. But what would happen, I assume, was that they would get healthy at the right time, hopefully, and then that will make all the difference. I think that because of the deficiency between health-wise, Embiid, and also Paul George, that this will be a breakout season, more of a breakout season for Tyrese Maxey. I think Tyrese Maxey is going to lead the league in scoring this year. He's just absolutely going to have to at this point, with now the announcement that Embiid won't be playing back-to-backs, won't be available to play in back-to-backs, and now with Paul George being iffy already with the knee injury, man, Tyrese is going to have to step up and be who he actually is. You know what I mean? Just a bonus. So I still like round 3.
I like your idea of Maxey leading the league in scoring. I just don't know if he's going to be able to have enough time where he's the main guy to get all those shots. Big Dog Talk Sports, what's good, man? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And everybody in here, if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe. All right.
Bro, yeah. I mean, I had some interaction with Big Dog today, man. I checked out a couple of his videos. If y'all haven't tapped in with Big Dog either, man, make sure that you do. Yeah, good content.
No doubt. Definitely gonna have to do that. But yeah, I think I like the addition of Paul George a lot. And even though he's one of those guys that seems to be cursed by the injury bug as well, and a lot of people think he can't be the guy. But what I point to is 2 years ago, Kawhi Leonard, as usual, was down in the playoffs, and for the first time ever, the Clippers got to the conference finals. And how'd they get there? Off the back of Paul George. Paul George carried them before he ran out of gas. And that dude is really, really good. Like you just saw in the B-roll that we showed, Paul George he's a very skilled player. He's a point forward type. And maybe not like he used to, but he can also be a quality wing defender at times. So he's a really good matchup for Tatum. And he's also going to make Tatum defend as well. Or Jaylen Brown, however you want to do that matchup. I think it's pretty good. It's a good move if you can have even relatively good health for the 76ers this season. That could be another team. Again, you see these teams making very specific moves in the East to try and load up and dethrone Boston. And I think that was a good move. I do. I don't think it's the end all be all because of Paul George's age and injury history. And he may not even play in the opener because he's already hyperextended a knee. But if you can get, what do I want to say, 60 or 65 games out of Paul George this year, Philly can be a dangerous team. Embiid already said he's not playing back-to-backs, which I don't even want to get into that. I'll just say
that's another topic.
Yeah, it's extremely disappointing, man. I'm a big Embiid fan, and it's just sad to see that the season hasn't even started and he's already putting it out there that he's not doing it. Like what happened? At what point? When did we lose conditioning your body to go through the grind? But again, that's another topic. But I think that Philly has what it takes. They have a championship head coach. They have really good players. I think Embiid is also probably pretty tired of hearing the talk about how he's the only MVP that's never been to the conference finals in NBA history. So I'm sure that he wants to kind of shed that label. And so the biggest enemy to the Sixers is health. And if they can stay even moderately, relatively healthy, they can be dangerous as well.
Right.
The East at the top is tough. Go ahead, Transformer.
Yeah.
No, I like what both of you guys said. The biggest thing is health, right? You got to be. I don't want to piss myself off here because what Joel Embiid said, right, and literally his coach staff was backing him up on it, not wanting to play back-to-backs because you're worried about your health, bro. You're always worried about your health. Back-to-backs ain't going to affect that at all, right? You know what I mean? Proper conditioning, proper staying in shape, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to miss the entirety of the back-to-backs. You're not LeBron James and you're 40 years old. LeBron was saying, okay, bro, you're 40. I get it. You know what I mean? I have some sort of understanding about it. Bro, you just came off of an MVP season. You're the best big in the NBA. I don't think that there's nobody else better than Joel Embiid. When he's on that floor, he's the best big in the NBA, right?
Correct.
And for you to just go, for you to go out here and say, and lose the weight that you did, like you've been, preaching all off season. Yeah, he lost. I believe it was 30 pounds or 20 pounds or something key to make sure he was more relatively healthy throughout the season. To now add that you don't want to play back to backs because of your health, I think that's asinine, bro. You lost the weight so you can be more durable, be able to have that stamina, to be able to take those back to backs. So take that shit head on. I'm not paying you $51 million for you to tell me when you gonna want to play, right? If you're not hurt, if you're healthy, you're playing in the game. And I think that's what coaches and owners need to really own that. Like, no, bro, you're healthy. Are you hurt? Okay, you're playing. You're playing.
Right.
These fans, the reason why you're making this money, right, is because of viewership and fandom.
Mhm.
So you're going to give the fans and the viewers what they want. We're paying you $51 million for you to play as many games as possible, granted, if you're healthy or not. So play the game. But anyway, I digress. Philadelphia 76ers, I think they're a great team. I think what they did with Paul George was the upgrade they needed, because the last guy that was in that spot, boy, you could not find him if you had big bifocals on, binoculars on, telescope, microscope. Boy, you couldn't find him. And I mean that in Tobias Harris. You couldn't find that man. That boy was literally taking money and robbing Peter to pay nobody. Because like when it mattered the most, Tobias Harris was a no-show every single time. So I think with that, you got a definite upgrade in Paul George. Granted, he has his moments to where in the past that he kind of stunk up the bed a little bit, but I think in the last couple of years he's kind of really put the Clippers on his back, especially with Kawhi Leonard being there. Like Bruce said earlier, he made that strong run, when Kawhi was out. So I think you have a guy like that who can go and drop 30 on any given night. On a night that Joel Embiid is probably within foul trouble, and you got Tyrese Maxey right alongside him who can go give you 30 at any night. You got Kelly Oubre who can go and give you 15, 20. You got Caleb Martin who can be a spark. I mean, you guys are really, really increasing that firepower to really be a threat in the Eastern Conference. And honestly, they were one of my threats in the Eastern Conference before Joel Embiid was dealing with injury and going back and forth. So what you guys said to a team, man, health is really going to determine how far they go. And you starting off already in trouble with Paul George's situation, but you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Joel Embiid, you got Kelly Oubre, you got Caleb Martin, you got Kyle Lowry, even though from what else he has left, but he's still a valuable point guard in the right retrospect. But I think you're going to be all right, right? I got him. I think I had him on my chart. I think I had him finishing third. I think I had Knicks 2, Philly 3, Milwaukee 4. Interchangeable. But like you said, it's all predicated off health. But you guys are pretty much on board, man.
Cool. Let's go to I guess the other team that most people think will be in the top 4, and that's Milwaukee. And then after that, we can kind of we'll just go from there. We're not going to run through all 8, but Milwaukee, I think, is the 4th.
It's called the Beast of the East, not everybody in the East.
Exactly. Right. Realistically, that's a team that I think can land anywhere from 1st to 4th, depending on injuries, right?
Correct.
We know that Giannis is a champion. We know that he has the thirst to become a champion again. I'm not sure how hungry Dame Lillard really is to be a champion, because he refuses to even attempt to defend. So it's like all he wants to do is shoot, but he also kind of has to be the guy. So it's a very weird situation. And again, I've said this before. If I was Doc Rivers, what I would have done, I would have gone to the film department and had him splice together a video of every variation of the pick and roll that Stockton and Malone ran and say, hey, you guys learn these. And everyone you're capable of running, we're going to run it this year. Now, the pick and pops, that's not Giannis's game. We know that Malone later in his career became a deadly mid-range shooter, but that's not Giannis's thing. But regardless, I'm sure there's a lot of variations of the pick and roll that they could run together, and I don't see why that couldn't be successful. But that's just me. But that's what I would be doing if I was Doc. But I think, because think about it, when Giannis is healthy, that guy almost by himself is good enough to get you 50 wins. Is Middleton still there?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I thought so. So Middleton is still there. He's a quality number 3 guy, and we even saw him go off when both Giannis and Dame Lillard were hurt in the playoffs. So Middleton can get you buckets. He's another guy deadly in the mid-range and can shoot the 3. Really good, traditional bucket getting small forward. That's a good basketball team. Now, here's the problem. Doc Rivers coached my Celtics to a championship, and with all that said, I have no faith in that guy as a head coach. I mean, the guy as a coach has blown more 3-1 leads than any coach in NBA history. Like, I have no faith. So
that's a bad stat.
That's a terrible stat. So that's the other concern. But as it stands, that's a good enough team if they're healthy to give anybody a run. I think we started with Transformer last time. Q, go ahead, man. What you got on that?
Yeah, I would say you're onto something. I love everything that you said, bro. You're onto something with that Stockton Malone footage, because I think that even in a dribble handoff situation, Dame will be incredibly effective shooting that mid-range jump shot. I know he's not known for being an assassin in the mid-range, but he has a good enough shot, man, to be that guy if he accepted that as a role and as a functional part of his game, like a kind of a dominant part of his game. The long range bombs are going to come. You know what I mean? The other thing is Middleton. Middleton is, I think, going to be key for this team on court, right? On court, because Middleton he suffered from a lot of injuries these last couple seasons. So I think that Middleton is going to be really the linchpin for them. You know what I mean? He's going to be that. Like they go by how Chris Middleton can actually be effective for them in the lineup this year, because he's not hampered with nagging injuries. You know what I mean? Or where he's missing a significant amount of time that allows him to actually run a functional offense. Because even in order for that pick and roll to work effectively, you need other threats out there on the court. So you need a Middleton that can stretch the offense, that can put the ball on the floor, you know what I mean, and score at a different level as well. So he's dangerous enough to allow for a more fluid offense from Milwaukee. My biggest concern, likewise, Bruce, is Doc Rivers. I don't understand, and I want to be careful, because when I look down, because I hear you dragging Doc behind the pickup truck, I'm like, we might want to be careful not to be, oh, y'all hating on a black man with a job, and you know what I mean, y'all talk. But I'm saying, bro, I don't understand how Doc Rivers is so high on everybody's coaching list. I'm like,
I can't figure it out either.
Bro, it's so weird to me, because I don't like Doc Rivers as a coach. It ain't up to me to like him as a coach. I'm just a fan of the game, right? But I don't see him being this coach that coaches his personnel effectively. I don't even see him as that guy. You know what I mean? So I hope that he can put together an offense that really works for the Milwaukee personnel, that highlights, what Giannis actually needs to thrive at the top of his game. Giannis is the only player, I will say he's the only player in the NBA, and this is debatable, this is just my opinion, but he's the only NBA player that I've seen in recent years who it seems like every year he adds a little bit of something extra to his bag, and it's like, man, he got that now. Like, man, Giannis is a beast. So I don't doubt what he's going to do on the court, but he still needs a complementary offense that helps him play more effectively with his teammates, because otherwise, like you said, Bruce, he gets you 50 wins. But when you can review footage from these 50 wins and then you get into the playoffs, well, what Giannis has been most effective at doing is no longer effective. That's why they were walls against him and stuff like that. Playoff series pass. So I think that hopefully Doc, man, comes out with a bona fide game plan. I'm still salty, and again, I'm not a Milwaukee Bucks fan. I'm just a basketball fan. Today, but I'm still salty about Adrian Griffin being fired when they were the number 1 team in the East. I'm like, well, how do you fire coach that got you? They look, well, because that
was weird.
So can I? I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you for a minute. So I'm with you on the Adrian Griffin firing. I think that was terrible, and I've got to be consistent here. Consistency is a big thing with me. Anybody who knows me knows that, and so I'm always blaming LeBron for getting coaches fired. As I understand, Giannis is the reason Adrian Griffin was gone. He got that coach fired, and that, to me, that wasn't cool. I don't like that. It's like one thing I loved about Giannis was he always seemed like I'm so happy and I'm so blessed to be here, to be in this position. All I'm going to do is work hard and try to win. And it almost seems like, I'm going to use this term, somebody may be offended, apologies if that's the case, but he almost seems like he's become very Americanized. You understand where I'm going with that? Like diva-ish, unappreciative. And so now it's a lot less of the, I'm happy to be here, I'm thankful to be here. And now it's a lot more flexing power in the organization. Go get me this guy, go get me that guy. And less focus on, let's just do what it takes to win and let me be the best player I can be, and more on all the ancillary things. And I do not like that at all. That's what I see. And like I said, as far as I know, he was the reason Adrian Griffin got fired. And I don't think that's cool because, again, it's not like they were struggling out of the box. They were the best team in the league.
Best team in the East.
Yeah, at the East, in the East, excuse me. And, he got the guy canned. I guess he didn't like maybe what he was calling, because I believe I was hearing Adrian Griffin would call stuff and Giannis would just ignore him and do what he wanted to do. And that is not cool. Brandon, don't ever repeat stuff like that from people who are clearly developmentally disabled. I wanted to use the R word, but I'm not going to use it. So don't repeat stuff like that, B. Yeah. So that is that's what I got on the Adrian Griffin firing. I think that's terrible. And Q, I totally agree with you about the Doc Rivers, and that's coming from a Celtics fan. So hey, thank you, Doc, for coaching us to that chip in 2000. What was that? 2008? Was that 16 years ago? Yeah. What other coach got that much run out of one championship a decade and a half ago? Like, this is crazy. Crazy. Transformer, go ahead, man.
Oh man. I got nothing to add to what you guys said. I think a lot of this is predicated off of Middleton's health. Last year, everybody in the starting lineup played 73 plus games except Middleton. Right. So I think that's a big key on you guys, being a threat. Last year, we didn't see much of Milwaukee, mainly because the key cog in the offense, Giannis, was hurt. So I think when you lose Giannis, you lose the entire team. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing left in Milwaukee when you take Giannis out of that lineup for them to even be a threat at all. So I'm not going to, discount them being a better contender, higher than 4. Like I said, they can finish 1 through 4 for all we know, because Giannis, a healthy Dame Lillard, a healthy Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, they got Tyron Prince. They have pieces behind them to actually be a threat in that Eastern Conference, especially when you got nobody that can really guard Giannis, right? Damian Lillard can go for 40 out of nowhere because he's extremely hot from 3. Chris Middleton can knock 5-6 threes in a game in the fourth quarter, become that closer. Him and Dame Lillard can literally close the game out in great fashion. So I agree with you guys saying. I really ain't got much to add, honestly, when it comes to Milwaukee.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to highlight that comment that just popped up on the screen. Yeah, the Clippers weren't in a good space and they weren't in the mix because of Doc. And I think that a lot with the personnel that they had when he was in LA, they should have been much better. Almost how I feel about this Milwaukee team is that Doc has he has a great personnel, bro. And if he doesn't show us something this year, then the Adrian Griffin firing, even though, Bruce, like you said, maybe that was because of Giannis, but that firing will be for naught. You know what I mean? Because who do they bring in that can control a group this talented, if not for Doc Rivers being in the position that he's in right now? So they're going to go as far as Doc Rivers and his offense, you know what I mean, can take them. I know that when a coach loses the locker room, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I'm like, how did he lose the locker room when they were number 1?
That's tough. Like, I'm number 1 and
they were
I lose
1.
the locker room. That's just as bad as that Toronto coach that lost his job when he was coach of the year. He fired me and I just got coach of the year.
Oh, Dwayne Casey.
Yeah, with Casey. So it's like, damn, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, that's tough.
But no, man, he makes a good point. But you talking about the king of LA, the Clippers, the new kings of LA. They made all that noise talking about it's our turn, and them motherfuckers didn't even make it to the finals. And LA got another championship on y'all watch.
It's Kawhi, bro. It's Kawhi, bro. It's Kawhi.
Man, sometimes we keep shit in the basement because we gotta keep the filth down there, but sometimes the filth can get out of the basement.
No, that's where it belongs.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where it belongs.
I'm so glad they got their own building, bro. Get out of my building, bro. Get out of my building.
What's the matter with you, man?
Oh man, because I love it, man. As a Laker fan, right? When the Kawhi Leonard made the announcement that he's going to the Clippers, and then out of nowhere, boom, Paul George are going to the Clippers. Patrick Beverly, Lou Williams, those guys were in, I believe, Vegas at the time, and they literally went live on social media, like, yeah, it's our turn. New Kings of LA. You saw the billboards, the posters, New Kings of LA, Clippers. This is Kawhi Town. Remember Skip Bayless used to talk about it's Kawhi Town, right? All of that noise. And them boys didn't do nada. They didn't do nada. Didn't even make it. Like, bro, you didn't even make it to the dance. You didn't even make it to the conference. What town are you on? And then LA got another championship on your watch? Come on, man.
You couldn't hold that till we start talking about the West.
My bad. Oh, my bad. I just digressed.
Lakers.
My bad. My bad.
His Laker,
my bad.
you know that Laker bias is coming in there at some point.
Yeah, that's exactly
you already
what
know
that
it.
is. Real quick before we move on to the West, talking about Milwaukee, let me read something to you guys. Excuse me. Giannis Antetokounmpo recently made some comments that have sparked speculation about a potential trade. During an interview with The Athletic, Giannis joked about being traded if the Milwaukee Bucks didn't win a championship this season. While he acknowledged the pressure and high expectations, he also mentioned that it's a possibility if things didn't go well. However, it's important to notice these comments were made in a light-hearted manner, and it's unlikely that the Bucks would trade him without his consent. Giannis is a cornerstone of the franchise, and it has a significant impact both on and off the court. Do you think the Bucks have what it takes to win a championship this season? I don't, but Giannis wasn't joking. He was serious because it was reported, again, NBA insiders, it was reported that before the Dame Lillard thing, he was really putting pressure on the organization like, hey, figure something out so that, we can be more competitive for another championship or, I'm going to.
Well, yeah. So to your question, Bruce, and to the question at the end of that article, again, I think that any of these top four teams for the East that we mentioned, if health is a factor, obviously health being a factor for every team in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But I think that Milwaukee could quite possibly return to championship glory. But again, that hinges upon Doc Rivers and what kind of an offense he brings in with that personnel. Hence of Giannis making those statements about, putting the team on notice. That's what any superstar should be doing, to say, hey, man, look, y'all got me. I'm here. But I need to see some things, some things changing. So that's what I've long used in defense of, LeBron. It's like, well, what can you expect when you're hanging around and waiting for the team to show you something? So I'm glad that in good faith, Milwaukee did pull the strings to get Dame Lillard there. But like I said, now the issue can't be that we don't have a coach that can coach us properly to get us to gel together, even that we might be competitive. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it remains to be seen.
No doubt. All right,
that's my side.
Backing the truck up. Okay.
Yes. Okay. What is that? Is that the Bucks truck?
I wish.
They come to pay the podcast.
Man, listen. Woo. Everybody get a cut. We good. All right. Let's go ahead and switch it up. We're going from Beast to the East out to the other side of the country. The side of the country that matters less. Now, let me stop. Let's go to our next segment, Best to the West. And so obviously we are going to talk about the Western Conference and who we see as maybe the top four teams out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be in order, but who are the best teams out there and who are the key players and so on and so forth. Q.
Yeah, so I would say, much like I opened, the show and talking about the East, the Western Conference once again, we're the surprise number one seed, Oklahoma City Thunder from last season. You know what I mean? Same thing. I think they returned, with a roster that they are familiar with, in addition to bringing in Hardenstein. You know what I mean? In addition to getting rid of Giddey and the outside, nonsense with playing with the kiddies. And so they bring in your guy Transformer. I can't think of his name right now for whatever reason, but he came over from Chicago. He was with the Lakers at first.
Lonzo Ball?
Huh? No, not Lonzo Ball. I know exactly who he's talking about. Caruso.
Oh, for the Thunder. My bad. Yeah.
But Caruso, man, the Caruso. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so I like Caruso for his grittiness. That was a huge signing. They have Jalen Williams. I think that Chet Holmgren and obviously they need Chet Holmgren to take a bit of a step up this year in terms of his production. I know he's still young. Last year was just his official rookie season, but I think Chet's upside is so high that this is that season that we see him really put it all together, even in his frail frame. But I just love their team and what they have. They have a lot of other young pieces, so they don't actually miss a step when they have to go to their bench. Their bench is very deep. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander he's just one of them ones. You know what I mean? So I think that Shai has a great year this season as well, and they remain the class of the Western Conference in that regard. Now, when I say class of Western Conference, I know there's maybe some folks in the chat are probably thinking the same thing or probably saying it out loud. Like, man, them boys barely won the number 1 seed last year. You know what I mean? There was so much parity in the West that they took the West by 1 game or something like that. So I'm saying when I say turn to the class of the West, I mean just playing with the same level of intensity and the same level of intentionality that they played with last season. I think that what they sniffed in terms of greatness last season is going to carry over into this season. So I expect those boys to come out, man, and play very well.
I can agree with you on that, Q. But I guess the question is, they can play very well. Do they have what it takes to get to the conference finals or maybe an NBA finals? I think at the end of the day, that's the problem, right? We know that an 82-game regular season, and realistically, it's the same in every sport, right? We've gotten to a point now, it's like the regular season is almost like, all right, can we get through it, get to the playoffs, especially in a sport like basketball, right? Now, obviously, when you have more scarcity of games like in college football or the NFL, it's a different factor. But in basketball, those 82 games are long, man. That's a long slog of a season. So yeah, they can do well and be the number 1 seed. I just don't have a lot of confidence that they are ready yet to be a team that can come out of the West, or I'm not even sure they can make it to the conference finals.
So I'll say my only pushback on that, Bruce, would be, you know, last year was their deepest run. Last year was the first year. They were actually a sleeper surprise team to me, even that finished that high, right? And to play as well as they played last season. So that's why I say I know that it takes some time. Again, it takes time for these teams to really figure it all out and gel well together. I think that because of what they experienced last season, that we can look forward to them kind of taking another step. And if that step is at least reaching the conference finals, dope. If that's getting to the finals and then possibly losing, well, we know that happens. You know what I mean? So, no, you know, go for the first time and win it all the time. But I think that they have a good enough team, a great enough personnel, and they're well coached. You know what I mean? So I think that they could quite possibly be one of those teams that West to compete at least for a championship. Win it all needs to be seen once they match up in the finals, right, against whoever it is that they match up with from the East. But I think that they do have what it takes, honestly.
Transformer?
No, I like it. I think they're going to be a big threat. Why? They're running the Twin Tower. They're running the Twin Towers. I think that Hartenstein is going to be a great move for them when you have Holmgren at the 4, who's 7'1", who can stretch the floor. You got one of probably the best mid-range shooter in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who can literally take as many shots as he wants right now, because at that point, I got 2 7-footers who can go get me a rebound and get us another possession. I think that's key. I think we, you know, a lot of that hasn't been enlightened in this off season on how big of a move, in my opinion, that was. That they have a true big down there to battle the Jokic's, you know, the ADs, to kind of take that pressure off of Holmgren. Now Holmgren has a little bit more freedom to, you know, roam around, not necessarily have to be in the post, not necessarily have to be an enforcer, but giving him time to develop, get a little bit more meat on his bones to even become more of an enforcer if needed, you know, in rotational situations, to where Hartenstein gets in trouble, in some foul trouble. Well, guess what, Chet? He's 7'1". He's bulking up a little bit. He can hold the anchor down until Hartenstein is back into the ball game. Alex Caruso, y'all know how I love him. I love Caruso, man. We actually developed him pretty well in the with the Los Angeles Lakers. It was pretty sad to see that kid go. But, you know, that's another stud on, like, he's a hustler on both offense and defense. Like, you kind of need that to go along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got Lou Dort. You know, Dort is pretty much a football player masquerading as a basketball player. That dude is big, right? He's very, very tough. So I think you got a lot.
Transform. Hold that. I was want to cut in real quick to say he reminds me so much of like Anthony Mason, bro.
Yes.
From back, and Bruce will know. He reminds me, bro. That
It's a
big
great
body.
analogy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A
I'm
lot of that.
just stout, strong, just like physically, you're like, bro, he might be a problem. I don't want him guarding me. Right. You know what I mean? So you have guys like that can make it a tough night for your front court, right? For your backcourt, excuse me. For your backcourt. So I like him, man. I do like him repeating for number 1 or number 2. I think Denver's gonna be the other team that's gonna probably want to get that spot back when this next season starts. And yeah, no, I like OKC right now.
All right. Let's look at who would be you guys' second team in the West. And again, this is not necessarily in order. We're just talking about those kind of top 3 or 4 teams out there. So I think obviously the next one, however you want to order it, we got to think about the Nuggets, right? Mm-hmm. I think the way they're presently constructed, they may end up kind of being like Giannis and the Bucks, like maybe not winning again for a while. They struck, they struck lightning. Is that the expression? They caught lightning in a bottle, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets en route to the championship a couple of years ago. So I'm not really sure that they are equipped to win again. Now they have certain matchups they can really take advantage of. Obviously, the Lakers being one of them. I mean, sometimes, man, it's just about matchups, and that just seems to be a tough one. But yeah, they're going to be one of the best teams in the West. Jokic is, one of the best players in the league, one of the best players in the world. I will stand by it that Embiid is better than him. They do different things, but Embiid, we see him eat Jokic's lunch when they match up head to head, and that's important. And that's not just the team winning. We're talking about an actual you and me, mano y mano, same position, and I'm destroying you. So I think that, yes, I think that means a whole lot. Barbecue chicken. So yeah, I think that means a lot. But at the end of the day, Denver, very good basketball team, will be a top 4 seed in the East, providing everybody's healthy. But that's another one that I'm not really sure if they have what it takes to get out of the East again. Michael Porter Jr., for whatever reason, hasn't really been playing to his capability and showing up. And I don't know if he's that guy to be a quality number 3. Jamal Murray, you can't count on him either. I don't know what's going on. Jokic is as steady as they come, as steady as the day is long, I think would be the expression. But he is not a guy with his play style that can particularly carry a team. So he needs guys to come along with him. And I don't know if he has that. So it's going to be tough. Yeah, Brandon, I think you're right. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah. No, I wanted to read Brandon's comment, and that's true. Yeah, no, I agree, and that's why I have them at number 4. I'm not really, and again, much like the parity in the Eastern Conference, I think that there's parity also. There's parity throughout the league, so clearly on both conferences. You know what I mean? And then the cosmic clash of all of them when they come together to face off throughout the season to sharpen each other. But I think that Denver will, because they're returning similar personnel, their only real true addition, they lost KCP, but they add Westbrook. And now Westbrook is no slouch. I know that he's got break, slander and a lot of, but Westbrook has been consistent at playing the way that he plays the game when he's allowed to play the way that he plays. The one thing that I like about Denver is that they're a well-coached team. Mike Malone is very good at coaching them as personnel. He's great at making adjustments. Earn my respect, especially in last year's playoffs with making adjustments, especially after those first 2 games that they dropped to Minnesota, where it's like he does have the ability to coach his team well. But much to your point, Bruce, I agree. They're only going to go as far as Jamal Murray will allow them to go. Michael Porter Jr., he's going to play a role. He's playing a role. Aaron Gordon's going to play a role. He plays a role. Christian Brown's going to come in and play a role. He plays a role. Jokic is going to be consistently playing the way that he plays. He's just a big body with a slow-mo skill set that is tough to guard. And he's very skilled as well, even, size. So I think that his buckets are certified. it's going to be what Jamal Murray actually can consistently bring. And I think Jamal Murray spent it all in the Lakers series. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, that's not Lakers slander, but I'm saying he spent it all in that series, and then he black through the rest of the playoffs. So they're going to need Jamal Murray to really step up and be that guy. Jamal Murray's a bucket, and this kid can flat out get it done offensively. But it's just going to be a matter of what he brings and contributes to help them get over the hump. They cannot make it without a bona fide number 2, and he's got to be that this season.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened to them boys, man. Them folks wanted to put us in our place so goddamn bad.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to interject, but I wanted to let Bruce finish. He's like, man, what's going on with Michael Porter Jr.? Oh, he showed up in that LA series. Oh man, Jamal Murray is just not finishing game. Oh, he did against the LA. Did the LA series, right?
He did.
And I'm like, yo, I was I'm a Laker fan, right? So I got a Laker group chat, and I'm like, yo, I'm watching the Denver in the next series. I'm like, yo, did they just waste all of their talent just to sweep us? Just to get us up out of there? Because Michael Porter Jr. went home. Jamal Murray, no show. I'm like, KCP not getting the rock, not shooting. I'm like, yo, the folks literally expended all of their energy to beat us, and now they got whatever's left in the next series. But anyway, that's besides the point. I like Denver. I still got Denver finishing top 2. I think with Mike Malone is one hell of a coach. I do like his ability to coach.
He's a coach's son, right?
Huh?
He's a coach's son, right? I believe his dad coached LeBron at one point in Cleveland.
Did he?
Isn't he Brendan Malone? I believe so.
Yep. Is that his dad?
I think so. Is his dad or his brother? I think it's his dad, though.
No, that's his dad. Yep.
There you go.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. All right. So
he's coach's son.
Yeah. So he coaches son. So I mean, he's one hell of a coach, right? And I think when you lose KCP, in retrospect, I don't like Westbrook. I didn't like him at all as an addition to the Lakers. I thought as soon as we got him, I just knew it was a bad move. I wanted to call LeBron, but he started blocking my phone calls and be like, yo, what the fuck? That's not it, right? So I'm like, anyway, he didn't fit with us. I do like his fit coming off the bench in Denver. I do like that, right? You do need that extra piece to come off of the bench, give you that spark. Westbrook can still give you a spark. Westbrook is still a decent player, right? He's just not a starter, not a takeover caliber. You don't want this guy to lead your team type of player, right? But if you can reduce his role to that 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes to where he's coming in, giving you a hard fought 20, 25 minutes, he can really propel you in a lot of basketball games. And we're talking about the regular season here. I think that's going to be key for them in the regular season in order for them to finish up top. Jokic is going to be Jokic. Jokic is still one of the best bigs in the league. He's the best big in the Western Conference. I still have Joel Embiid in front of him because when them boys match up, like we say, it's night and day. Embiid truly cooks this dude to a nice, dark, crisp barbecue chicken type of style. But I mean, Jokic is still a problem over there. Nobody in the Western Conference can truly stop him. AD can't stop him. Like I think that's the best big you got in the Western Conference that could even sort of challenge him. And yes, he has trouble, right? But I do like the fact that you got Jamal Murray, you got Denver, you got Jokic, and you do got Aaron Gordon. I do like Aaron Gordon in his role, just coming out of the block, playing off the block. I think that's a great spot for him. And like I said, the dunker spot. Yeah, you're in the dunker spot. So I think that's a great spot for him. I saw that work a lot for them in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think they started to use that a lot more throughout the season, man. Like I said, you got Westbrook coming off of the bench. That's a nice second unit to go with them. And losing KCP will hurt your shooting. It truly will. Man. But, you need Michael Porter Jr. to step up at some point in time. Like he's going to have to take over that role and being that sharpshooter that clearly you showed when you was playing the Lakers. So I'm gonna need you to act like you can still shoot the damn ball when you ain't looking at purple and gold, right?
They paid him, so you better go out there and earn it.
Exactly. But yeah, that's my take on that.
No doubt. All right, let's move to a team that could be anywhere from second in the West to eighth in the West, and that's the defending Western Conference champion, the Dallas Mavericks, right? And this team is so interesting to me because obviously they made a big move in the offseason in grabbing this guy, Klay Thompson,
Woo.
for the first time in his career, he's going to be playing without his splash brother. He's no longer in Golden State, obviously. This is a guy who excels in moving without the basketball, excels in catch and shoot situations, one of the purest shooters the league has ever seen. And, well, I'll say everything is different for him, right? So you're going to see some nights like you saw a couple of nights ago where he was, I think, 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. You're going to see some nights like that. Also, he's aging, right? But there's going to be times when, shooters don't forget how to shoot. But at the same time, everything is different, right? From the colors on the floor to, the way the arena looks behind the basket. All those things can affect a shooter. And it can have some effect on him. But as you can see, Klay can still shoot it when he gets going, right? I think he had 11 last night, shot the ball well. So I'm just looking. I think that's a huge addition. My problem is they can play this way now, but when Luka gets back, who is super ball dominant, doesn't move well without the basketball, and he's something of a ball stopper, how is that going to work, right? Klay Thompson is a guy who's played his entire career in generally free-flowing offensive systems, and even when it wasn't that, he played a lot of pick and roll type ball with Mark Jackson as the head coach. But for most of his career, he's played a ton of really free-flowing basketball, heavily predicated on movement, cuts, passing, and all that. But Luka doesn't play that way. And so I am curious to know, I think this is really going to test the amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say power, but it's going to test how effective Jason Kidd can be as a head coach in Dallas, because I would assume Jason Kidd, being the incredibly cerebral basketball mind that he is, I would assume that Klay coming over, he would have sat him down and said, hey, let's talk about some of the stuff you did offensively, some of the sets you ran, some of how your system works, right? And incorporate that into what they are doing there in Dallas in order to not only make Klay comfortable, but to maximize his skill set while playing with Kyrie and Luka. But the question is going to be, is Luka going to want to do it, right? We know Luka's a guy that likes to dribble out the clock, and it's basically high screen and roll, or, he's going to take some deep step back three, or he's going to drive and kick, kind of like LeBron without the athleticism and more of a jump shot, right? So it's really going to be curious to me to see just how much weight Jason Kidd holds as a head coach for that franchise, because they are going to need to change some things in order for them to maximize what Klay Thompson can do. But if they can do that, I think he's a very healthy addition to this team. Obviously, he can't defend like he once could, but we'll see what it is. But I think that this is a very good team. I'm not so sure if they will have the luck or the ability to repeat as conference champion, but this can be a very good team.
Well, I think to add to what you're saying, you know what I mean? I agree. That obviously you don't acquire a piece like Klay Thompson without figuring out how to incorporate him and get max, production out of him. So I believe that it will figure out ways to incorporate him. My only worry with a Klay Thompson is, much like you said, Klay's game seems to be more in flow, rather, when there's a lot of movement in the offense and he can move around. We know that he, without a dribble, his catch and shoot is crazy. But I don't know about Klay just standing around without motion. And that's the problem. With a ball-centric offense, like Luka likes, to run, and like Kyrie will like to sometimes get into his NYC bag, and he's just dribble. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the thing. But I think that you cannot go too far away from offensive sets that put Luka at his strength just to benefit Klay Thompson and his flow, even though you're going to need him. So you cannot have, the issue was relying too much on Luka, you know what I mean, in the in the finals even. You know what I mean? Like, he was able to put his cape on and get them to the finals playing the way that he plays. But when, again, you have these coaching adjustments, film adjustments made, they're going to have to be able to rely on a full free-flowing offense that even opens the floor for Kyrie to get into his bag. The lobs are going to be a huge part of their offense still. I think that Klay's threat that he's offering from the outside, though, can be a huge plus. But again, they have to figure out how to get more motion in that offense to benefit him, to keep him active, because you can't just wait on him until the end of the game to finally then say, all right, go out and get us one, even though millions of dollars to do so, transform,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? However, still needs to be some free-flowing offense there. Yeah, so I agree. I'm still high on Denver finishing number 3 this season. I think that they figured some things out last year. They come out, I think they have more fun in their offense this year, so they come out and just kind of do much of what they did last year, but incorporate more of the things that they did in the postseason that they did not get a chance to incorporate much during the regular season. I think they figured some things out about themselves and their personnel that will benefit them this season. But again, that still leaves them to a bunch of film footage that teams will get a chance to break down and be ready for them and be prepared. So Klay Thompson is literally going to be their linchpin, in my opinion, of how they incorporate him.
No, I like it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to Bruce real quick. Yeah, absolutely. Mike Brown's an underrated coach, and there's a reason for that. Your guy LeBron got him fired after winning 60-plus games. So, there's that. But yes, Mike Brown is an underrated coach. Say again?
Nothing. No, I'm gonna move past. It's not a LeBron James conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. You said what you said, but we're gonna go ahead and move on because our friend right here, our co-host here, Q, doesn't want to hear any type of slander in that retrospect. You understand me? Okay.
That's
all
right.
We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and switch my voice out of this voice real quick, and I'm gonna get into the fact that I don't have Dallas doing much during the season. Because I think it's going to be a lot of figuring out to do, right? I think it's going to be a lot of figuring out. You got older, right, when you added Klay Thompson, but you also got less defensive, right? Now you have a 1 through 3 that neither one of y'all can play defense. Klay is old. Klay's not going to stick. He's not the two-way player that he was from the defensive standpoint. Kyrie Irving's not going to guard anybody. We know Luka is the most blown by player in NBA history at this point, right? So I think at this point right now, defensively during the season, you're going to have a lot of issues there to the point while you're trying to figure out your offense, that's going to cause you to lose a lot of games, right? Now, I say that all to say in the playoffs, I think that's why you get a Klay Thompson, right? Because if you look at the NBA Finals, a lot of their looks were wide open. They were getting a lot of wide open looks against the Boston Celtics, the way Luka and that offense was kind of free-flowing. Nobody just couldn't hit a shot, right? So I think you get Klay there because he's been in those bright lights. He's been in those moments. How many championships he's been to? 7?
Oh, he's been to 6. He's got 4.
Been to 6, got 4. So he's been there, done that, won a title over and over and over, and he's coming up big in big moments when the lights were the brightest, right? So I think that's why you get a Klay Thompson. I don't necessarily think you get him for, okay, we want to be the best during the season. I think they're going to probably finish 4th or 5th. The way that everything is going to be rolling, like I said, defensively, you're going to have a lot of issues, right? And offensively, you're most of the beginning of the season, you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to like, okay, how can we fit Klay in here? Luka, like you guys mentioned, is Jason Kidd going to have that talk with Luka? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have to move the ball around. Some days, let Kyrie take control today. Let's see how that offense works. Let's see if we can get you started playing off the ball a little bit more. Then next game, we'll try to swap it out. But like I said, it's going to be a lot of figuring out for the Dallas Mavericks. That's why I don't have them finishing in my top 3. Like I said, maybe 4th or 5th is where they're going to finish during the season. But I do think they're going to figure it out close to the end of the season as they're approaching the playoffs, and truly can be a problem because when you look at the team top to bottom, they have a championship caliber type of squad. As you guys see, they just made it to the championship. They couldn't knock down big shots. That could really keep that series close against Boston.
Well, I don't even think it was that. Didn't they get blown out? 3 out of the 5 games? It went 5, right? Gentlemen sweep. So yeah, they got 1.
Did it go 5?
So they got blown out like 3 times. So
but if you look at the beginning of the games, it was a lot of like they both couldn't hit a shot. It's like, you saw Luka kind of shrugging his head, like, come on, man. Like, help me out. And then on top of that, Luka was playing. I believe he was hobbled at that point. He got hurt in the previous series. So go ahead, Q.
Right. No, I was going to say
okay,
right.
You were saying
right.
Yeah. So, he was hurt.
Long haul, but I agree. Yep.
Yeah, he was definitely hurt a little bit, but like at the beginning of those games, folks could knock down shots. And I think that was a key on why, Boston went on those runs. Because if you let Boston play with a lead, they're tough. I mean, from top to bottom, They had everything going for them. You know, you got Drew Holiday at the point of attack. You got Jaylen Brown, hustler. Jason Tatum, hustler. In most cases, hustler. You know, you got Kristaps Porzingis. You got Al Horford. That's tough to come back in a championship way when those guys, like I said, have that continuity to keep you away, to keep you at bay, and you guys are really just struggling. You guys can't knock down shots. So I think that's what I have for them. 4th or 5th for the regular season, and then you'll see the end of the year. You start getting that pickup of Dallas. Things are clicking, right? Klay Thompson is getting hot. He's found his rhythm. Luka's okay. He's feeling good. Kyrie Irving in his bag, getting nasty, game winners. And then you'll start to see that playoff push.
You know what, Transformer? I got to say this real quick. Hold on 1 second, Q. Transformer, I got to say this real quick, man. I love the way you reference the Celtics and you talk about the continuity. And, you know, I can really admire the fact that you understand what a champion looks like, you know. So anytime you need to know what that looks like, just look to the East. Those guys in green and white will show you exactly what it looks like 18 times over. Carry on, Q.
My bad, Transformer. Yeah. Wait, stop, bro. Go ahead and take a shot, bro. Look, I was gonna say to your point, and I agree. You know, basically what you just described, you know, in all, you know, factualness, is what happened for the Dallas Mavericks last season, where it took them through until after the All-Star break to really figure it out. And I believe they won they were the best team after the All-Star break. Down the stretch, they out with a huge 20+ game, you know what I mean, or 23 out of 5 or something like that. So that's the kind of team that they are. But I think that again they benefit from a free-flowing offense that incorporates the fullness of their roster and their personnel. They'll benefit from it greatly because you cannot just rely on Luka to carry the load, hobbled or not. You know what I mean? We know that Luka's greatness when he's not hobbled, but exhaustion is a real thing. You know what I mean? Especially in an elongated portion of the season, that is the postseason. So they definitely need to have more of that free-flowing offense for them throughout the regular season. They're gonna have to figure out things on the defensive end, but I like the defensive effort made. But when you dig yourself into a deep hole because you're solely relying on Luka to score all the points, Kyrie saved his for the Minnesota series because a young boy called him out, and so he, you know what I mean, he pulled the disappearing act in the finals where they really needed him to step up and be a monster, but he wasn't. So, but that's because it's so Luka dominant as a team that you're just like, Luka's going to get us across the finish line, and your best player for the most part should be relied on to do that for you. But that's not championship basketball. You know what I mean? So and not for this team that they have, because they have a lot of good pieces, even to work the ball inside out, or you know what I mean, to have a more of a free flowing offense to the basket to get those lobs and to throw the defense off balance. I think Klay adds the value that they need in that regard. They just have to figure out the right way to use them, bro. That's it.
I like it.
Real quick, Bruce, question for you, because I like how you want to throw this in real quick. Think you slick. Those Celtics championships don't count from the 60s and 70s. There's only 8 teams playing against plumbers and firemen. So I'll assume you're joking because you say you're a smart basketball person. So I'm going to ask you this. Do the Lakers championships from the early 50s and the 70s count? I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Moving right along.
I mean, if you don't count them, then we'll definitely have the lead because we won a lot more posts. Never mind. That's not my conversation.
And that would be fine. And that would be fine. As long as we
keep it consistent,
right? Yeah.
Keep it fair. Keep it fair.
Because listen, man, you know, always get a Lakers respect, man. I hate them, but you know, I have to respect them. You know,
likewise, yeah. Fuck Boston too. Yeah, I know.
Right. No doubt. All right, let's move along to whoever our number 4 team in the West would be.
Toss up.
Yeah, toss up. Who
up?
Are you looking at?
Toss up.
4 at the 4 spot.
We talking a toss up, man. And man, I'm sure Anthony Edwards and this mob, man, coming back will have a lot to say about that.
I totally forgot about Minnesota. Wow.
Very strong. I'm happy that John Moran is coming back. I'm happy that KD, that Brad seems to be healthy coming into the season. That book is just book. I like the pieces that Phoenix is somebody in chats. Like, let's talk about the Suns that go on it all. Suns not my beat. They not one of the top 4, I think, in the West. But I think they have the potential to be so if everybody's coming out the bigs, the big 3 specifically, and they're functioning on all cylinders. But I think that for the Suns, it's going to be really incorporating those other young pieces that they brought in, those auxiliary pieces, just to make sure they flow well as a team, so they're not just heavily relying on the big 3. But Minnesota, man, is man, Ant is Ant. You know what I mean? And I think that Minnesota was not just some flash in the pan that we witnessed last season. So I think that young boy comes out this year. He hits a higher level, you know what I mean? Another gear. The team that they have around them, man, is a very solid team. So I think that, you know what I mean? Obviously, adding DiVincenzo, like I said, is a big deal as far as I'm concerned, because DiVincenzo was nearly 18 points a game last year. York. So I think that 18 points that he adds is cool. I love that. Julius Randle is basically coming in to play essentially the same Cat role, so they don't lose anything by losing Cat. Julius, both of them rebounders, but Julius is actually a better rebounder than Cat. So I think that they don't really fall too far off. I think that their role players are going to be really integral for what they do this year, and also with a aging point guard situation, I think that the kid Dillingham, man, gets some burn, his value to this team in the here and now. Later on, I mean, right out the gate, man, Dillingham is a beast. He's a young beast, and I think he's going to get a lot of chance out there and play into exercise, you know what I mean, in the flow of offense with this team and the way they go. So I'm really high on Minnesota, actually, and I think that they could, just like last year's parity. If you go back and look at the standings, there were 1-2 games in those teams that were top 4 from flip-flopping and having that thing look any kind of a way. So I think that remains the same this year. I'm high on Minnesota, bro. Minnesota's the truth. Those boys,
my bad.
Much like you said, City going to be them. Just to finish up here, Bruce. Just like Oklahoma City, they're still a young team in Minnesota, so they don't quite know what it takes to get it done, to close out a series, to win, to keep your foot on their neck, to not come out and play from behind. So hopefully they learn. And just referencing that starting 5 docuseries, Ant's disappointment and the way that he talked about, kind of how they dropped the ball and they wet the bed. You know what I mean? So I think that he comes back motivated this season to be better, and the personnel that they have around them, and they didn't lose a step at all, bro. They got better, actually, in effect, from a roster standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just respond to Steve real quick. I don't understand this Rudy Gobert slander. I really don't understand the Rudy Gobert slander. Why is no one talking about the coaches that consistently put him in terrible positions with horrible defensive scheming, instead of this stupid nonsense of switching everything and teaching them how to play defense the way we all grew up playing defense? If you allow your team to switch the pick and roll every time, of course Gobert is going to look bad. He is a legitimate old school rebounder and rim protector. He's not supposed to be out there defending freaking guards and wings on the perimeter. That's not his job. That's not what he's supposed to do. Just the laws of physics alone make it very difficult for him to do that at his size. It's silly. We got to stop the Gobert slander. If you get a coach that go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, can I help you?
Yes, sir.
I want to phrase this correct.
Yeah.
What is the NBA like? What is the NBA promoting? Sort of something similar to the NFL, and I think you're going to pick up on what I'm saying.
Okay.
What do they promote more? Offense.
Scoring. Yes.
Scoring.
Yes.
That, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rudy doesn't have that. And I think that's why people label him the way they label him, because when you look at the offensive side of the ball, the man provides you nothing at all. Right? It's nothing.
No.
Right? I mean, he doesn't fit in any scheme, right? You get him out of the box because, like, okay, now you're just clogging up space. You can't shoot. You don't have a hook. You don't have a post move.
I was about to say, if you give it to him on the block, like, he's not terrible, but modern basketball does not believe in giving bigs the ball on the block for the most part. unless they're really special guys. And
I agree,
Gobert is not bad, but
when he does get the ball down there, it's just
Mm-hmm.
not. It doesn't look good at all. It looks clumsy. It's just like there's no rhythm to it. And when he's battling guys like your ADs, your MBs, your Jokic's, they just bump him, and all of a sudden Rudy Gobert missing it, trying to catch his own rebound, another putback. He's trying to do all that. And I think at that point you're like, okay, well, let's just kind of hide you offensively, and you just focus primarily on defense. And like you said, it doesn't help that now he's switching on pick and rolls. He has to go out there and guard Luka at the 30-foot line.
Yes.
So he's going to get cooked there. So
exactly.
That's going to look bad. Losing him. And the reason why you have him in the game, now you just don't have no reason to have him in the freaking game to begin with. He can't help you offensively. And now he's switching on pick and rolls.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why we get a lot more Rudy Gobert slander, because that right there, you can't give me nothing offensively. You switch on pick and rolls, you get cooked.
Then do a better job coaching him. Do a better job coaching him.
Yeah.
Don't allow him to be in those situations. But I don't disagree with anything you just said. You make a lot of sense there.
Yep. And didn't he get choked out? What was that cat? Did
No,
Draymond choke him out? You just got bitched in the middle of the basketball game.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I don't. Maybe that's just not Gobert's personality. Draymond would have had to see me.
Oh, Dray would have. Oh boy.
Every time we played,
Cat would have caught them hands too. I'm like, Cat, bro, what you doing?
So I don't know if you saw it this offseason. Gobert was like training in kickboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the footage. I'm like, I hope he kicked Draymond in his head. I can't stand Draymond. That dude is one of the fakest tough guys ever. Terrible. My man lucked into one of the most beautiful situations of all time, and he thinks he's something he's not.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah, let's hope the kickboxing helps his footwork or something. You know what I mean? But he's not an offensive player at all. You know what I mean? But to Rudy's credit, you know, to be able to contribute 12 points a game, which was his average last season, is solid.
He can do that.
To be able to rely upon him to at least give you the cleanup bucket. I mean, where they are, right? What I would like to see Gobert do, I know what he's going to do defensively. I know that he's not, as most people are pointing out in the chat, you know what I mean? He's kind of frail in there, and he loses a lot of the big center matchups, which is to be expected when you have such skilled bigs in the league. You know what I mean? But when you're looking at him up against an AD, up against a Jokic, up against an Embiid, he's going to pale in comparison because those are incredibly skilled. So we got to give credit where it's due also, not to just say, man, Rudy's some ass. It's like, no, those players are really good. You know what I mean? So he holds his own in that regard, where I would like to see an increase. You know, I'd like to see him block at least 2 more shots a game and get more rebounds. To only average 9 rebounds a game at his size, to me, is the Travis. Like, bro, you should be getting more boards down there, knowing again that you're at a disadvantage and you're at the mercy of all these offensive players. So at least hold your ground, body up where you need to be, turn, box out. You know what I mean? And get more boards. So I don't like the fact that he can't be relied on to grab 15 boards a game. Like, as big as this cat is and as active as he, you know what I mean, off the ground, I think that he should be grabbing at least 15 boards a game. Stretch, bro.
That's a good point. Andre Drummond can do it. Why can't he?
Right.
No, that's a good point.
He should be leagues above everybody else in terms of how many boards he cleans up. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, based on his positioning, the majority of the time where he's just at the mercy of these defenders, you know, or these offensive players, rather, as a defender, he's getting more boards than he's getting. You know what I mean? So
that's fair. All right, cool. So that's the top 4 in the West. Before we go ahead, my bad. Did you not get it? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
My bad, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just over here, admiring you guys' takes on Minnesota
Whoa,
Timberwolves.
whoa. What's up with that voice, man? What are we doing?
Well, because I've been
no. Stop doing that. It's making me uncomfortable. I'm going to HR.
Cat Daddy. What's going on?
Cat Daddy. No, man, I like Minnesota. Man, it's gonna be a toss-up, bro. I think once we get past the three spots in the West, man, it's gonna be a toss-up. You got Minnesota, you got Memphis, who's gonna make a resurgence with Ja Morant.
Welcome back,
Phoenix.
Ja.
Welcome back, Ja. You got the Phoenix Suns. It's gonna be a lot of competition anyway, like from 3 to 8, it's going to be a lot of competition for those spots. But anyway, we're talking mentality, basketball flavor that you really truly get from Anthony Edwards. On the court, I truly love this kid. Off the court, I just wish he did more research before people start asking him questions. That's the only thing I'll give AE. But I do like the man's toughness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider what he says off the court cocky. I consider that competition. Bro, just like that. Like, you know, when he came on the Olympic team, nah, bump that. We playing through me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, nah. And he showed that when it was his turn to get in those Olympic games. Like, even with Jason Tatum being the champion on that team, he like when the ball got into play, he clapping for the ball. Give me the ball, right? Like, this is my time to shine. I'm taking advantage of these minutes. I'm on this big stage with y'all, and I'm next to y'all. I don't need to be coming off the bench. I shouldn't be coming off the bench. That's his mentality, man. And you gotta love a kid that has that sort of mentality, right? But anyway, but I do like everything that Minnesota has, with the exception of their one addition of Julius Randle. Like I said before, I just don't trust him in the playoffs. He kind of like fades to black a little bit when the lights get brighter. But I do like Dante DiVincenzo and that just toughness, aggression to go along with AD. You got AD who's just an alpha. You got DiVincenzo who's an alpha, like those type of dogs that can truly just bother your backcourt in its entirety. And you know, you lose Cat, but you still got Naz Reid, who's still a beast down there in the post. It can knock down the 3 ball to you know, help out Rudy Gobert. So I think when you have those 3 cogs in the center, and you got that toughness that you have at the in the backcourt, I mean, you're truly going to be a threat, bro. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit. I want to see AE be in that top 4. Or top 3. Like I said, OKC is going to be up there. I think Denver is going to be up there. I think Dallas is going to be like around that 4. So Minnesota or Phoenix. We're getting we may get on Phoenix here in a little bit, but they could definitely battle it out for that 3 or 4, right? For that spot. But yeah, man, I like that team. I do like that team.
No doubt.
Bruce, with Transform, I agree with you 100%, bro. I just want to address what Steve is saying in the chat about, you know, it's the defensive player of the year, not expected to be, you know what I mean, the guy who shores up things on the defensive end. Yeah, that's the expectation, bro. I agree 100%. But again, an expectation is one thing, but the reality is, yeah, he's defensive player of the year. It's not just because of him shutting down you know, the bigs. It's because of his entire body of work with the boards, with the blocks, you know what I mean, and all that. So maybe unfairly, the voters gave him a few that he probably should not have gotten. But Rudy Gobert is still a decent defensive player as a big, playing against these very skilled big men in the league. I'm from the era when I began watching basketball with Hakeem, with David Robinson, with Patrick Ewing, who are very skilled as offensive players, but they were not the kind of bigs that could stretch the floor like these guys stretch the floor these days to have you lingering outside the paint. If it was just about in the paint play, that would be different. You know what I mean? But it's not just about in the paint. In the paint, Rudy Gobert holds his own for the most part. You're not going to shut down a Jokic. You're not going to shut down an Embiid. You're not going to shut down an AD. You're just not going to shut these guys down because they're just too skilled as basketball players. So he holds his own. His issue is when he's on skates out there away from the paint. You know what I mean? Exactly. Out there away from that paint when your comfort zone is back to the basket, because it limits the amount of space that you have to move around and where these offensive players can actually move. There are no dreams in the league in terms of footwork. Jokic might be the closest in terms of giving you multiple moves down there with the footwork.
Embiid.
But you know what I mean? Rudy Gobert, he's expected as defensive player of the year to be a cog in the middle, which I think that he does an effective job. You know what I mean? But in fairness, you know, these other guys are skilled, man. I always just like to give flowers where they're due. These other guys are just skilled, man. They're incredible. We're watching some great basketball, which is why I would hope that the mainstream media would take more time, and why I'm grateful for the independent media space, so we can actually give flowers where they're due. Let's make sure that we're celebrating great people and not just pronouncing, you know what I mean, and smacking the ass cap on everybody because they are getting fried by individuals, man, who will fry anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. I just wanted to add that in. But Steve, I agree with you, bro.
Yeah, you're right. AD should have won that defensive player of the year last year, but that's just me. Go ahead. They gave
All right, so quick pushback on Q. So Patrick Ewing, it's funny you named Patrick Ewing, you named Dream, you named D-Rob. All three of those guys, and if you also add in Alonzo Mourning, all three of those guys were bigs who could stretch the floor. Now, they weren't shooting threes back then because that's not what bigs were expected to do.
That's what I mean by stretch. I mean, they're not out there on that 3-point line making all
I got you.
out there is what I'm saying. But they were
because I was
15 to 17.
Right. All those guys were automatic from okay, cool. Got you. Yes, Edward. Hakeem is the dream. Yes, that's correct.
Hakeem, your dream.
Hakeem, your dream.
Yes, Edward. That is classic. Man, Bruce, you got me stuck with that for life, bro. But it's all good. No, so I was playing a clip earlier while Transformer was talking. I apologize, I hit the wrong one. So he was talking about Minnesota, and I was actually thinking about Memphis and kind of the return of Ja Morant. And
Threw me off.
Yeah, I apologize for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it now. This could be a very dangerous team. We know when he's at the top of his game, what an elite guard he is in this league. And what I really like, and again, pace NBA game. And as you saw, even at 7-3, he really got up, to the rim to catch that alley-oop. So if he can be, half decent on defense too, I think he can be a really impact player for Memphis, and that can get those guys. And again, we make all these predictions predicated on health, man. Bruce, man, please, you ain't got no money to get, man. Man, but no, what I was going to say, yeah. So Memphis, I think, is another pretty dangerous team that we've got to keep in mind. And again, the West is interesting because we have no idea how that's going to shake out. But I think they can be. I think they can be very good. Desmond Bane, very good player. They got rid of the distraction of Dylan. What's his name? They got rid of him last year. The guy that's always going
Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks. So they got rid of that distraction. So they're still a very good team. And again, they got their main guy back. So if he can stay out of trouble and stay healthy and stay on the floor, that's another one. Some really good guards out west, man. Just imagine the matchup we're going to have when Memphis plays against Minnesota, or Minnesota versus OKC, or Memphis versus OKC, right? Those matchups at the 1 or at the 2, or even Golden State, right, with Steph. Like, those are really good freaking matchups out there. So should be very interesting to see how those play out.
Yeah, absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
I think that Ja Morant. Oh man, go ahead, Q. Go ahead. You got it.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, you got it, bro. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that goes back to the parity of with last season. So it's the same thing, the way that the season shook out, from a standings perspective last season, I expected really to play out, much of the same way in the West and the Eastern Conference. I don't think that we're going to see anybody just run away with the conference and it be kind of a dog fight for just like 2 spots in that in that conference. You know what I mean? From say 6 down, 7 down already established. Last year it was literally, man, when I tell you it was the same thing, bro. I mean, the parity in that Western Conference literally had, just like in the East, in those top 6 teams, 1 win, 2 wins different. You could have had anybody at number 1, number 2, number 3. So the separation wasn't really that drastic. And so a team goes on a win streak, doesn't unfortunately have a situation where they've lost, their main guy at a critical point of the season. And you could see a Memphis, sneaking into the top 5. You could potentially see a Sacramento sneak in there. You could potentially see a Steph Curry-led Golden State team sneak in there and up in those heights. So I think that the West is, again, man, the parity is so beautiful out there, and that's a testament to how balanced the NBA teams are as a whole in both conferences, man. That I think has me excited to watch this NBA season. I think it's going to be one of the better actual seasons, with teams grinding it out. To fight for playoff spots than we've seen in a long time.
No, I like it. No, what I was going to add is that Bruce, you mentioned the Minnesota versus Memphis series.
Yes.
I think that's going to be some of the best watched basketball
I think
in
so.
the NBA.
Yeah,
Ja Morant and AE, because who was supposed to be the face of the league? Ja Morant. Who screwed it? Ja Morant.
Right.
Who's now turning into the face of the league?
Anthony
Edwards. And so Ja Morant's like, well, I was suspended and then I got hurt. Wait a minute. Y'all forgot about me?
Y'all forgot about me.
So you forgot about me? Yeah. Let me remind you. So I think that's going to be one of the, like, I'm marking that on my calendar. Memphis versus Minnesota. Those are going to be some great games. If Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards are healthy, I expect both of them to give you 30, 35 plus in every single game that they play against each other this season. I think that's going to be some of the best basketball of the season right there.
Yeah. So I keep seeing, first of all, Brandon, man, your freaking obsession with these DC teams is killing me. Wizards are trash. They'll always be trash. They're never going to be good. They'll be trash until we die. Stop talking about the Wizards. Okay.
Trade Kyle Kuzma.
Jeez. So Steve keeps bringing up the Suns. We're sleeping on the Suns. Nobody's sleeping on the Suns. Nobody believes in KD if he's not in Golden State. Plain and simple. That's it. He might be an outstanding player. He might be one of the best offensive players of all time. That's fantastic. But the empirical evidence is, what has he done outside of Golden State? He went to one finals. He lost it. Other than that, it's like, okay. Like, come on, man. The empirical evidence is there. He's not that guy. He's not getting it done outside Golden State. He keeps trying to go places, and you keep seeing the failure. Whatever the situations around it, I'm sure there's plenty of context, and there is. But nah, he just hasn't gotten it done. Now, that said, you mentioned if they give him a point guard, and I think
they did.
Who would be that guy? Tyus Jones?
Tyus Jones. Yeah. So look, Bruce,
that's not gonna get it done.
So it remains to be seen. So Steve about to be the homie, because I agree, right? And this is just being objective.
Okay.
You can go body of work with KD and what he hasn't been able to do since leaving Golden State, but you can also we're just looking at situational basketball and with the structure they actually have. I like their addition, the additions that they made this season to shore up all of the holes and the deficiencies that they had in their offense last year. Even against the Lakers in preseason last night, man, they look like a different team, bro. They look like a different. So I'm out here in Phoenix. I am curious to have playoff atmosphere basketball back out here meaningfully. So I'm curious to see how it all plays and how well it works. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, no, bro. You know what I mean? It's not like a long shot, I don't think. You know what I mean? Respectfully, there's so much parity in the West. But if you have a decent team put together, you know what I mean? And they have a decent team put together now around the big three and not just a bunch of minimum guys that you're hoping to get something out of. That's highest addition at point guard takes Book off the ball and allows Book to play the game that he plays from a strength standpoint for him offensively, which is a big deal. That's a big deal, bro. It's a big deal. I think it's gonna be a good season for the Suns.
No, man,
do you think Budenholzer makes a difference?
I think that Coach Bud definitely makes a difference. He took a championship off of Phoenix. It's only right that he comes back and helps him, you know what I mean, at least, man, get back into some sort of legitimacy in terms of being able to compete.
Okay.
No, man, yeah, I agree, bro. You kind of sleeping on Suns a little bit, brother. I think with Mike Budenholzer, you add in a coach, a valuable coach, a championship winning coach, right? You have KD, you have Devin Booker, you have Bradley Beal, but you added an important piece in Tyus Jones to help Bradley Beal not bring that fucking ball up court, because boy, that was horrible. Like last year, what we saw was horrible. But on top of that, the biggest keys on why they were awful last year, them folks couldn't stay healthy together, right? Like you get those three pieces, you trade all your depth away, but you guys couldn't see the floor at the same time. On top of that, you have a point guard issue. Then you have a depth issue. This year, I think they still have a little bit of a depth issue, but they at least fixed the point guard retrospect, and you guys are all coming together healthy, right? You're coming into the season, all three of you healthy. So I do expect that they're going to be a much better basketball team, because like you stated, Bradley doesn't have to bring the ball up the floor. All right. That was a nightmare, him bringing the ball up the floor. Yes, anybody in the NBA can pass the ball. any NBA player can go out there if he's controlling the tempo, if they're playing through him, he can get assists. That doesn't make you a point guard, right? There's a huge difference on you having that ability to just orchestrate a team, and they're not relying on you to do much of anything else, right? Point guard Tyus Jones is one heck of a point guard, and I think he's put in that position to help now put Bradley Beal in those situations to where, okay, you're a spot up shooter. If I kick it to you, nice little drive, kick back. KD, you got Nurkic down there, get your rebound. At that point, we have 4 people on the floor that can knock down threes, right? So I do think they're going to be like definitely fighting for that 4, 5, 6. Like I said, that 3 through 6, 7, that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be a tough conference, bro. It truly is, man.
But they had Mason well, and again, I just feel like realistically, yeah, sure, they're not going to go deep on their bench, but they really don't have to. KD is a hooper. Bill is a hooper. D Book is a hooper. So these guys like to play. You can get them burned. You can give them minutes. They don't get tired. They want to be out there. It's not a liability when they're out there. KD is not anybody's defensive player of the year candidate, but KD is lengthy enough to be a problem for shooters and also a rebounder down there to be a problem, you know what I mean, from a standpoint of them long ass arms and shit, making it difficult for bigs even, you know what I mean, to get shots off, or guards to come down that lane and get shots off. So yeah, I think the Suns are dangerous. I think they can present a real issue in the West this year, bro. Honestly, and it's not just because it's not Phoenix.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I believe. Yep.
I do think they get outmatched in the playoffs though, because like depth, you don't have the depth, right? And you guys have a bad injury history. Devin Booker hamstrings, Bradley Beal hamstrings, knee. You know what I mean? So I think you lose one of those guys in that playoff series, you're cooked.
So 2 things. One to last season, right? Yeah. Keep in mind, season was their first year coming together, so that was an experiment. That was the experimental phase. But moving forward, comment just now. Keep in mind, we still haven't. There'll be additional trades made and pieces moved and pieces acquired. You know what I mean, by the trade deadline as well to shore up whatever other holes they have, or to help strengthen in ways that after Coach Bud gets a chance to kind of see. You know what I mean? Where it is. I like Coach Bud. Back to Bruce's question. The reason that I like Coach Bud being out there, because Coach Bud has that let it fly mentality, and you got a bunch of shooters and a bunch of bona fide buckets, bro. So that offense is about to be. What can they stop is going to be the question. Can they stop anybody? Can they stop a runny nose out here? You know what I mean? That's going to be the big deal. But scoring the ball, continuity on offense, and all that stuff, I think will be much better for them this year. Much better, bro.
And Devin Booker got a taste of that. It's not a championship, but it got a gold medal. So he got that. Hey, man. Hey, whoa, wait a minute. I'm in that, playing with my partner KD. We both out here. We got that gold medal. And see if we can have some of that run off on us, keep that championship mindset of what they have and bring that to the team. So it could be big for them. I like them this year. Like I said, I don't have them finish them high, but I do think that they're going to be in that, between that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that spot. I think it's going to be a lot of great teams in the West, man.
For sure.
All right, there we have it. Let's you know what? I was going to move the sleepers, but it's almost disrespectful to not mention the Lakers, right? Because y'all know, obviously, I'm not a Laker guy, nor am I a LeBron guy, but any team he's on, and with the way Anthony Davis is playing now, I would be surprised if they ended up in the play-in again. I think that's a solid basketball team, although I have major questions about their coaching.
We all do.
Yeah. So I think that's problematic, but I don't think we can ever count out a LeBron team, right? However I feel about him as a player, there are certain things that are evident, and you can't count that team out. And obviously there's been a lot around the Lakers this past offseason. But what I wanted to touch on and show some love in terms of the Lakers is real quick. I wanted to take a minute for this guy. We've been talking so much about Bronny, and what he's doing or not doing. I wanted to show this guy some love because he worked out last night, man. He balled out for the Lakers. I mean, we're just watching him, and it's beautiful to finally see somebody not named James get some attention on this roster. And I mean, he's showing why he was a first-round draft pick in the NBA. Right. Now, are we expecting him to get 35 a night? Of course not.
Negative. No.
He is showing that he has what it takes to be a quality contributor for this team. And I mean, I like it. I think with proper minutes, he can probably be a 15-point per game guy. And so, yeah, no doubt. And so, this is a guy. Look at that catch. Boom, really, that was nice. So this is the type of guy that he can be a quality contributor. And I think the Lakers can end up anywhere between that, like 5 and 10 in the West, right? Which is crazy. They can be a top 8 seed. They can be in the play-in. We have no idea what they're going to be or where they're going to end up. But I do feel it's disingenuous and disrespectful to talk about these top playoff teams in the West and not mention the Lakers as a possibility of being there. That's just what it's going to be. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about them because always have the ability to do something and upset the apple cart. The only thing I would really push back, I mean, I know we always talk about how amazing it is that LeBron's doing what he's doing at age 39 going on 40, and it is. The only thing I would really say in fairness is that we know, and Transformer knows this even more as a guy who is very well acquainted with the human body as a personal trainer and knowing muscles and knowing how the body reacts, so on and so forth. It's a lot more difficult to heal at that age when you have all that mileage on your body. Yes, he takes tremendous care of himself and his body, but I am, in all fairness, concerned that a smaller injury that somebody could bounce back from could be a major injury for him at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that could, can hurt him. But I think that, the Lakers are a team that, man, they can be anywhere between 5 and 10. And once they get into the tournament, you never know what can happen, especially if they avoid the Denver matchup. Not avoid like duck it, but avoid like the way the seeding plays out.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I didn't have them. I didn't mention them on purpose because I don't think they're a best of the West team. They're not going to finish in the top 4. And for me, best of the West is the top 4, right? Best of the East, top 4. I'm thinking strictly top 4. I agree with you. I have the Lakers finishing anywhere from between 5 to 9 because throughout the season, they don't care. And I've noticed that from LeBron James throughout his career ever since he went back to Cleveland. He doesn't – the regular season to him doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter as much as like I need to be a number 1 seed, a number 2 seed, a number 3 seed. Just get me to the fucking dance, right? And at that point, now we can really turn it on, right? So I think we seen that, and they were like, "Oh man, the Lakers made it to a play-in. Well, you had to make it to a play-in and get it. They were gonna get in, right? They made it to the they made it to the playoffs, and they made a deep run the previous year, and then they got bounced out by the same team last year. Granted, we got beat in the first round, but to me, that was a good thing because I'm like, if we were to make the same run and we run into Denver again, the same thing was going to happen, bro. Like Denver was the team that we were looking at as the biggest threat in the West to kick us out of there. So I do like that we're getting a couple of key pieces back. Jared Vanderbilt, he's going to be one of our key defensive cogs. I hate that we missed him last year. He's dealing with 2 foot in both feet injury, so he's not going to be making it into the season maybe for like the first month and a half or something like that. I think that's a key piece for us defensively. If you look at the previous playoff run we had the previous year against the Golden State series, particularly, that man was guarding anybody 1 through 4, and particularly Steph Curry. He was hounding Steph Curry. So you want a defender like that, especially as LeBron gets older, gets up there in age. He's not playing defense until the fourth quarter, into the last 2 to 3 minutes when they really matter. Man's 40. Right? Let's not expect that expectation needs to drop, right? He's not going to do any of that. He's going to get his 6 to 8 points a quarter, and he's going to finish the game with 24 to 28. And then in the last 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to see the best version of whatever LeBron has left in the tank. But the D Russell thing, I'm just not a fan that he's still there. I gave him a little love during the season last year, but then again, when the lights got bright, he went away. He went
I don't
away.
know what happened.
And I think that was a key piece that we needed against Denver because AD going out there balling, Bron go every our team was working, but it got to that fourth quarter. Jamal Murray gets hot. I needed D'Lo to be able to match that. Like, okay, he's knocking down a bucket. Go get a bucket, right? I can't have you going 1 for 14 when it matters the most, man. I just can't have it. But I agree, man. All seriousness, I do have him finishing anywhere between 5 to 9, and that's all predicated off of health entirely. Because AD can go down at some point. LeBron is turning on 40; he can go down at some point. So I don't expect them. Even though last year both played, I believe, 72 games plus last
like
season,
that.
So it was pretty
really
good. But the expectation is that they don't repeat that. If they do, then great. But I think if we can get some type of trade for D'Lo and get another, a better piece right there, then I think it'll boost my confidence going into the postseason or even a higher seed. But yeah, Dalton Connect balled out, by the way.
Yeah, so to piggyback on what you're saying, Transformer, I agree, bro. Like I've been, so I have the Lakers in the previous episodes that I've done because I've done 2 since the summer. One, I got a little antsy, so I did an incredibly premature, season predictions after the free agency period closed because I just loved what every team did in terms of moving to teams, as Bruce mentioned earlier in the show. And I still haven't changed, moved from my picks and my predictions in terms of where I think these teams are going to fall. But I put the Lakers at 9, and I've dragged the Lakers quite a bit in other videos because I'm like, as presently constructed, the Lakers are ass and blah 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 blah. So let me, with respect to Lakers Nation, to Transform and everybody else that's in here, because I've actually watched through the preseason, and I know that it's just a preseason, but given respect to the roster, I think that one, I agree with you about D'Lo. I just want to say about D'Lo, I think D'Lo is so streaky that he's another one of the players that you have to get going early, and then you can rely on him later because he's still in his emotion about being, being used and being effective. When he's in a slump, he's in a slump. You rarely see
who you telling
him start out 0 for 8 and then he picks it up. He's really freaky. So I think that if and unless, and at this point of his career, he just might be who he is, right? So unless you can get a D'Lo in positions where he's effective, also going to the basket to get some of those floater finishes and things like that just get him going, then they need to trade for another piece who can actually help them out in the mid-range area as well, and not just solely relying on 3. But I want to give credit to, obviously, you guys need Jared Vanderbilt back. We know that LeBron can't sit in the chair anymore. And rocking chair is the only chair that he's closest to at this point.
Much.
But
absolutely,
he expected age, but so he needs the others. AD is obviously going to be AD on defense, and then having a Jared Vanderbilt type come back, AR playing defense as he does, having some of these
ARs
that are playing D, Christian Wood, and some of these other guys to just give active, feet and just active hands around the basket and just in the passing lanes, period. I think it's going to be good for them. But I want to give flowers to this to the number 17 overall draft pick. It wasn't just last night. You know what I mean? This is through preseason now, or I'm sorry, through the league now that I watch, and now in the preseason. And he's got some age on him, man. This kid's 23 years old. Dalton Connect didn't arrive, y'all. Man, Dalton Connect is the truth, bro. Like, I think that he's going to be an instant, impact player for the Lakers, obviously. But my biggest concern for the Lakers is that even though they played an enormous amount of games last year relative to the amount of games that they would typically play, being AD and LeBron, I just don't trust LeBron and AD to play more than 60 games this season. I honestly don't, bro. And it's the scares AD and these tweaks that he gets that seem to take him out of the lineup. But for LeBron, it's his age. You know what I mean? So if they can figure out how to, when you don't have LeBron at full strength and when you don't have AD at full strength, interchangeably in and out of the lineup, so one of them's playing but the other one's not, if the rest of the team can figure out how to step up and get the rest of these people, you know what I mean, the rest of these players to help them win some games without them, then the Lakers are a completely different team than I even saw and have seen to this point. But it's going to be predicated on all of that, man. It's how the rest of these players come together. And I think that they have a decent team. It's still going to be hinging upon what JJ Redick can do. You know what I mean? The X's and O's on paper look good. On the Mind the Game podcast, man, all that shit sounds great. But in reality, need to transfer on the court into these players are doing on the court. And so that's going to be the biggest key. But the Lakers don't have a completely ass roster. You know what I mean? They got some good pieces, but is it all going to work when they get on the court? But I had them at 9 as well, just because I know that the West is a dogfight. I'm factoring in the health and the durability of an AD, especially AD. They go the way that AD goes, bro. AD is the Lakers' best player. He needs to be respected as the Lakers' best player. He is balling his fucking ass off in the preseason, bro. Like, I think if that's a sure sign of what's to come for AD this season, bro, the Lakers have an MVP candidate on their hands again. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he balled out last year. Like, even AD balled out last year. It was just like
every year, bro. He doesn't get his respect everywhere.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
a shadow thing, bro. That's really strange. But yeah, AD's that guy. What you got, Bruce? Because I see it's the steam coming out your ears. What's up?
Because we're talking about Bron.
No steam.
No. Hey, quick thing, real quick, and I'm gonna let you go, Bruce. It takes 60 seconds.
You good?
Man, what's up with Lakers drafting 6'5" white men? We're great at it.
Yeah,
Alex Caruso, Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect. They've been hitting on 6'5" white boys, man. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I noticed it. Like, we saw Caruso come out of nowhere, right? We saw Austin Reeves come out of nowhere, right? Like Dalton Connect, he got drafted lower, projected higher. He got drafted lower due to his age, but we're seeing Dalton Connect. We're seeing it again. What's up with? I don't know what's up with that, man. I think it's pretty funny, man. But Bruce, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say something totally different, and not to let it completely redirect the discussion. I just saw on my phone, it popped up live Lakers versus Warriors from ESPN, and listen to the headline, right? Because final preseason game, Dalton Connect, Bronny James visit Golden State in final game of preseason. Why? Why did they have to mention for what? Dalton Connect and Bronny James. What are we doing? What are we doing? What has he done to have his name mentioned? Come on, man. It's just absurd.
Be the son of the GOAT, my king.
Yeah, sad. But anyway,
son of my king.
All right, let's go ahead and all right, y'all. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold the calls till the end, and we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna move on to the next section to sleepers. Y'all good with that? We hold the calls till the end, and then we take the calls. Transform, you good?
No, I was looking at. Oh, okay. Well, we ain't playing nobody. That's why. Okay. I'm about to say we getting cooked 51-27, but we have nobody playing tonight. Not even Dalton. Dalton not even playing. No Bron, no Reeves, no Davis, no Christie, no Vincent, no Russell, no Hodgson. God damn. Everybody
man. Okay, Laker fan. All right.
Just reading. I can read.
No, so a couple of sleepers that we got here. The first two that came to mind for me were the Rockets and the Magic, and then I guess two more probably be the Spurs and the Kings. I think. Oh, funny, 3 out of 4 sleepers in the West. But anyway, I think the East is more clearly defined in terms of who's going to make those top 8 seeds. But I think the West, obviously, we know is kind of weird with that.
A lot more parity.
I definitely think, a lot more parity. I think the Rockets, I think they ended up number 11, so they just missed the play-in. Ime Udoka has those guys really competing. In the East, the Magic, Pablo Banchero, man, he's I think that kid is for real. That's a really good young cat.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Bruce. I wouldn't call the Thunder a sleeper because I think we all had them in the top 4 seeds in the West. I wouldn't call them a sleeper. Let's see. So the Rockets, the Magic, the Kings. I don't know where they land, man. I think they land towards the bottom, but I think it was Bruce said earlier, Mike Brown is a really underrated coach. I think those guys get into the tournament, they can mess around and upset somebody if the matchup is right. Sabonis is really good. Sabonis is like Jokic light, right? He's really, but he can't shoot nearly as well. But he's like Jokic light in terms of a European big who can run the point, really pass the ball, rebound well, etc. So you got that. The addition of DeMar DeRozan, very talented mid-range scorer, and you've got a really good point guard, De'Aaron Fox, and what's the other guy's name came with him from Kentucky?
Sabonis. Oh no,
No,
not
no, no, no,
Sabonis.
no, not Sabonis. The other guard. Is De'Aaron
With
Fox.
De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah,
Oh,
can't remember.
crap.
But the point is, I think they're well coached. They have a good roster. They play at a high pace. They can score the basketball. I think that's a really good team, Sacramento. And then of course, that's it. The Spurs. I like what I'm seeing. This is going to be interesting. I don't know if Chris Paul stays there, but with the the continued development of Wembanyama, the leadership. Ooh, great,
Ooh,
right,
God damn.
right. Now I
Did
don't
he
like.
turn around with it? It was like
Yeah.
get that
That's
out of
swinging.
there. Ooh,
Right.
boy.
Mm.
That's
That
That's
back,
footwork.
boom, one dribble pull up.
That's you in the gym with that one.
Now, how
You in the
crazy is it?
gym.
I'm gonna say something here. This dude is 7'4", got one dribble step back pull up. LeBron been in the league 20 years and don't have that in his arsenal. Come on, man. That's what we talk about when people say we hate on Bron.
Physics, bro.
But that's just
They
the point.
matter.
That's 7'4". You're not supposed to be able to do that like that. That's exactly the point.
I don't
You can
wanna
shoot
go,
over
I
the
don't want to
top
go
of
into
guys,
personal fitness, but what buff guy do you see as big as LeBron have a jumper?
Karl Malone.
A jumper.
Karl Malone.
Jump.
You better go. Karl
Not
Malone.
today. Not today's game. Not in today's game. Jumper.
No. He wasn't
pull
shooting.
Up. Dribble. Pull up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I had that. I'll send you the B-roll after we get off the. I had that in last time we were talking about Karl Malone. I'm talking about dribble, pull up, step back, gotcha. Yes, Karl Malone was deadly in the mid range. A lot of people forgot that, but yeah. So the point is, I just thought it was interesting that Wemby had that, year 2 at 7'4", and another guy who's this, that, and the third.
Was
But
a
anyway,
shooter already before he got into the league. But go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, already a pro.
He was already shooting.
You missing the point. But anyway,
I'm not. What point am I missing, bro?
You
lanky arms. You're a better shooter. Buff guys, we're not good shooters. We can it's a tougher mechanism because we're so strong. Like, we're physically strong, right? If you look at LeBron's size on how he used to pull up in his jump shot, the mechanics were bad. He was just so strong.
So how was Oak a very good mid-range shooter? I know we're digressing here. Charles Oakley, very good mid-range shooter. I know we're digressing, but he was.
Mid-range shooter, bro. We're not including.
Larry Johnson was.
Let's include the 3-point line here, guys.
LJ had very.
Well, Oakley, Larry Johnson.
Let's include the 3-point line, guys, because other than that, LeBron is very efficient inside the 3-point line. Is he not? Look at the numbers. Pretty solid
from the rim. Yes, 0 to 3
pretty
feet.
solid inside of 25.
No, 0 to 3. Look up the numbers. You said
those are just his best numbers. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. But his numbers are good.
No, they're
in
not.
the mid range. It's not like he's awful. No, you're including the 3-point range.
No, I'm including the mid range. They break it all up in Basketball Reference. Go check. But anyway, this is not a LeBron thing.
Because obviously y'all don't know physics.
What you mean? I've been
obviously you don't understand
physics.
I'm
not going to argue with you when it comes to body composition and how it affects things. That's your lane. I respect that. That said, I watched Karl Malone, Diesel, mid-range jumper. I watched David Robinson, Diesel, mid-range jumper. I watched Larry Johnson, Diesel, mid-range jumper. Charles Oakley, Diesel, mid-range jumper. Alonzo Mourning, Diesel, mid-range jumper. All these dudes, I watched them do it for years. So I'm just saying, I'm not arguing with you on what you're saying. I'm just saying I saw all this with my own eyes, and you can go back and check yourself. But anyway,
proceed.
So yeah, where were we? My bad, I got totally distracted. But yeah, so
you will be like, damn it, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it.
No, I know, right? I think that the Spurs are definitely a sleeper. First, I had them out of bounds, but when I went back and really thought about it and kind of reassessed, they got a veteran point guard who knows everything there is to know about the point guard position and can help Wemby continue to develop. And he's got a young guy behind him in Dalton Castle, who is not Dalton Castle, Stephon Castle. Sorry, Stephon Castle from UConn. He's really good. I think he was their first round pick at point guard, and he's going to be special. He can learn from CP3, and he can defend as well because if you don't defend, you're not going to play at UConn, especially not for Dan Hurley, right? But that's a team I think that really has some things, and obviously Pop is one of the best coaches of all time, probably one of the best 5 to 8 coaches ever. So he, I think, is going to help continue to develop this thing. So that's a sleeper team. How far the jump is from last year to now, not sure, but I think that's a sleeper team. So Sacramento for me, Sacramento, Spurs, Magic, and the Rockets, my sleeper teams. Who's next? Opinion? Q?
Yeah, I would agree. In the Western Conference, the only sleeper that I'm really high on, and that I want to keep my eye on, will be that Ime Udoka coach young team in Houston. With young Jalen Green and those boys, I think they could be that very shocking surprise sleeper team that comes up, man, and kind of blows everybody's mind this year. You know what I mean? Just because of the fact that they have such a young core and they're well coached. You know what I mean? So they're the team that I would definitely keep an eye on in the West. Sleeper for me, East Coast. My Eastern Conference sleeper would be Toronto. You know what I mean? Toronto's my dark horse sleeper, man. I love Scotty Barnes. I just think that Scotty Barnes' progression has been very measurable. And so I look forward to seeing what they can do, throughout the season from a team standpoint. But I think Toronto could be another one of those teams that we just look up and say, damn, shocking, surprisingly, they're in here. 2 sleepers from the East. My other that I'm not really high on because I'm just never high on them, and that would be the Atlanta Hawks. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they will actually do this season, but they always seem to be there. You know what I mean? Like kind of in the mix, fighting for it toward the end. So they could very well be that sleeper team, man. I don't know who they bump out outside of those that I'm, thinking might squeak in, other than like a Chicago at the bottom. You know what I mean? Or like a Miami if they somehow take a giant step back this year because Jimmy starts to incur a bunch more of the soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that remains to be seen too. So I'm thinking Atlanta, Toronto, Eastern Conference. I'm really, really curious to see what Houston does. So I think that Houston can make some noise for as far as your San Antonio pick. I think that it's still a season or two away, man. That's just by virtue of age. They have a great coach. They have, the great Chris Paul there to help facilitate for them. But I think that's more get these young kids up to speed so that he can eventually step back and just let them kind of do their thing. So I look San Antonio, obviously we stuck around through next season. You guys will see I'll be high on them for next season. They do something miraculous this season, and I'll be the first to come on here and be like, man, I was wrong about San Antonio, but I think they're you know what I mean, in my opinion.
All right. Transformer, your sleepers?
Man. That Wemby and Chris Paul, boy, that looked good right there, man. That pick and roll, man, the pick and pop. Like whenever you give Chris Paul a good weapon like that, a tall, long weapon like that, the man becomes a problem as a point guard. Like one of the best point guards to ever play in a game. He doesn't need a championship to prove that. I'm tired of him, like the conversation, him needing the championship to be in that upper echelon. The man is in the upper echelon of point guards in the NBA history. If you look at the game of basketball, right, that's him. I think this is going to be a big boost for Wembanyama. That he has somebody like a Chris Paul to kind of like mentor him a little bit, give him much, much easier looks, as you guys can see from the B-roll that you were showing. That those looks, the boy was wide open. He's like, oh, y'all forgetting I can shoot threes. Chris Paul knows where I'm at all times. The biggest guy in the building. The biggest guy in the building. So guess what? Chris Paul is definitely going to find me. So I do like the Spurs, my sleeper. I agree with Houston. Houston is an up-and-comer. The coach, I mean, what's not like about the coach except him doing things with front office personnel, right? Other than that,
you mean doing consensual things with other adults, but of course, because he's a man, they want to blame him for it. Go ahead.
I mean the fact that she was married, kind of,
okay, I'm not saying that was cool,
inside somebody else's marriage, but
she certainly that had to come on, man. That had to go both ways, man. Let's not do
it's
that.
It's adultery either way. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm not advocating it. I'm not advocating it, but I mean, since it came out, that whole situation has irritated the hell out of me because it's well known that it was 2 consenting adults. Interestingly enough, we didn't hear her name, but we heard him get smeared.
No, I agree on that.
And then we saw him get fired. Come on, man.
I agree on that.
You know I ain't with that.
Yeah, but you can't go around sleeping with the people that pay you the dollars. You know,
I understand that as well.
Yeah,
we gotta. I'm not mad at you, but we gotta stop this. And I'm not saying just you, but we gotta stop this foolishness of just acting like he did it by himself. Or
no,
you know
he
what I'm saying?
didn't.
Or
It took two.
he was Brett Favre sending bad pictures or something. Like, nah, cut that out, man.
Yeah, no, it took two. But you know, just don't bother anybody in no more front offices. How about that, Ime? Just stay out of the front office, man.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I'm with you, but
especially when you got Nia Long,
wait,
bro. Come on, man.
okay,
Trying to get Nia Long for
okay.
days, bro.
I get all that, but we listen how you say it. Stay out of the front office, bro. Why are we not saying, hey, shorty, stay out of the locker room? Right?
We're not gonna get in that, Bruce. All right, I made a joke. Jesus Christ, it's going way over your head. Let the fucking plane land. Right, let it land. Let it land so I can move on to my take. All right, God.
Man, listen, I get real. I don't like.
What's up?
I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Exactly, Steve. Exactly.
That man took my joke and got real deal Holyfield into the conversation.
You know, email. Man, you got man, calm down, man. Get off email helmet. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I take the joke back. All right.
I don't even, man.
But
we're gonna talk offline because you don't even understand why that thing upset.
No. But no, I do understand you. Doesn't negate my joke. You let my joke land. Like let it.
I apologize, man. I'm sorry, man. It just it touched the nerve, man. It
really did. Clearly, boy. You know your shoulders. It did this again. You start doing that again.
No doubt.
But no. I do like Houston. They're a very, very young, scrappy team. We give Dylan Brooks a lot of crap, but his grittiness kind of is a good mix for that young squad.
I think Ime likes that.
Yeah, I mean he loves that, honestly. Yeah. If you look at how they play, especially at the end of the season, you know, the toughness, that extra like stuff you don't see on the stat sheet type of play. You know, you get that from Dylan Brooks. So I think that definitely helps him out a lot. And that's in the West. As far as the East, I mean, the best sleeper team ever in the Eastern Conference is the Miami Heat. I mean, every season you're like, man, Miami ain't like. But then them playoffs turn on, but Miami a problem.
Yeah,
they start throwing in a lot of big teams. You're like, damn man, this is a lot closer series than I thought. You know what I mean? So Eric Spoelstra, what he does over there, Jimmy Butler, one of the toughest players in the NBA. You know, you got Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, you know, those guys over there. Them folks are always in the mix. Huh?
Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Yep. I mean, bro, you could name them. Like you could just name them. But that team, like when the lights get bright, those guys get tough. They get gritty. They get in your face. They you know, you see big games from Jimmy Butler. Next game is Tyler Hero. Next game is Bam with a 20 and 15 in the clutch. Like Steve, bro, I just can't say enough about how Steve Spoelstra,
Eric Spoelstra.
Eric Spoelstra, man, I want to say
right now.
Spags on my brain.
You already, man. You thinking about that San Francisco Kansas City game, man?
You know my hey, I got on NBA gear, but my mind and heart is on football. NBA season ain't started yet, but yeah, man, Eric Spoelstra, man, it's just something about him and that Miami Heat team that they're always a sleeper and they're always going to be a problem. Other than that, I have the Indiana Pacers. I do like what they have: Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner. I do like them as another threat out there. They showed a good run last year. I believe they ran into the Knicks and lost. Oh no, they ran into the Pacers. They got beat by the Pacers. Right? I mean the Boston Celtics. Did the Celtics put them out last year?
Yes, in the first round, I believe. Yes.
No, they made it past that.
Who's that? Indiana?
Yeah.
Indiana. Indiana. I thought you were still talking about Miami. I apologize. They beat Indiana in the conference finals.
Yeah, the conference finals. So yeah. So they made a nice little run in the conference finals. And granted, you know, a lot of injuries to a lot of other teams. You know, kind of paved that way for them, but still they showed some tough and grittiness to get up there. So I got those two as my teams in the East, man. Miami Heat, the Indiana Pacers, and then the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets in the West, excuse me. Loud ass keyboard. Got quite a
You got the Twitter fingers going. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, "Now I got to respond to this. Come on, man."
Yeah, and I was responding to Steve.
What you say about my Celtic? Oh man, I do like Orlando. I'm sorry. Another sleeper. I do like Orlando as well. Orlando was shockingly good last year. A whole lot better than expected. Orlando is being slept on, man. So big shout out to Orlando over there.
Yeah,
they just pay Wagner.
Yeah, 3 teams in the East: that Indiana Pacers team, that Cleveland team, and also Orlando. You know what I mean? They can end up anywhere, man, in that space, top 5 potentially. You know what I mean, with the parity in the East. So that's definitely good teams, good young teams.
Atlanta though? Why Atlanta? Well, why'd you say Atlanta? You said Atlanta was your sleeper. Yeah.
Just because I don't know, and they didn't. I think somebody asked in the.
That's all I needed.
Who did they pick up after letting go of DeJounte Murray? That's why I dropped him. I dropped him down to 12th in the East when I did my prediction show, and on my still presently, and I don't know. That's the thing. Is like looking at them in the preseason. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's almost like they're like Miami, where you cannot count them out because they still somehow seem to figure it out somehow. You know what I mean? So again, because I don't know, I'm saying that's why I put them in the sleeper space to be like, got it. Out that they do something big, it's like, damn, okay. I was wrong about him, you know what I mean? But
I got you.
And I don't know who they picked up after DeJounte Murray. I don't know if they picked up anybody.
I don't think they did. I think they got some picks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who, the Hawks?
Yeah, I think they got picks for him, didn't they? For DeJounte?
Conversely, with that DeJounte Murray thing, as we're talking about sleepers, let's go back to the Western Conference. Because New Orleans, man, DeJounte Murray.
Yeah,
but their biggest problem is Zion, man.
Can't figure it out. There's something about New Orleans I just don't trust. I don't believe in.
Zion's health. There you go.
He's lost a lot of weight this offseason. I think he's going to be okay. It's not that.
Trainer. Come on, personal trainer.
What happened?
Looks right now. Pause. No Diddy. But you see how svelte and buff and cut. He's looking good.
No,
but that's after you already withstand all these injuries, man. We can get all the muscle to cover up whatever we want. But if we already been through these injuries, but I'm thinking that scar tissue and all that stuff still there, big dog. It's still there.
You recover, but it's never like new.
It's never like new, man. It's not like it starts over.
He's still young. Keep in mind, he's still a baby, man. He's still 22. That kid's young. So you know what I mean? His recovery he's still in a good range of recovering and still being cool. So I think that him slimming down a lot the way that he has coming into the season, man, is going to be good for him. You know what I mean? And his durability for the season. I expect that especially given the run that they made through the playoffs last season, had he not soft tissue injury, like I said, you know what I mean? The hamstring thing
against us.
Series. If it wasn't for that, they would have beat y'all in that series. You know
they would have.
Negative.
In the play-in. Yes, they would have.
He had put that back. Young Zion had 40 on y'all, and it was 2 minutes to go, and he had just got an and one, and then jogged off the course. I didn't even understand where he was going. I thought something taped. I was like, what's going on?
I remember that.
He didn't limp off. He ran off. I said, I know that he limped off, but then I had to remember. I said, wait a minute, no. He ran to the locker room. Full speed, full sprint. So I
ran out of gas too.
I was shocked when they said hamstring.
There you go.
He didn't look like he was harboring an injury at all, you know. So that notwithstanding, obviously it's hypothetical at this point, right? Whether or not they would have won or lost, but I think that showed them something through disappointment, where that's why he got himself into shape to be like, nah, bro, I like the way that being able to put it together and to almost win. So I think we'll see a much improved New Orleans Hornets team this year. I have them finishing in the top 5 in the Western Conference this year. Honestly, number 5.
Possible. Like I said, boy, 3 through 4 through 8. It's all open. It's open for business, man. It's open for business.
Question: You guys mentioned the Hawks, and I don't think they're a sleeper. I think they're out of bounds. Do you think they're just holding on to Trae Young just for the the entertainment value? Because he puts up big numbers, but they're empty calories. They're not going to get you anywhere. Do you think they're just holding on to him for the entertainment value?
I think they're holding on till they hear a trade that's worth talking to.
Yeah.
I think he's really going to trade something major for Trae Young, though. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean he'll be gone probably if they can't. Again, that's why I have them in sleeper space, because I have them essentially at 12, so they're out of bounds for me too, right? But sleeper because again, I just don't know what that roster is going to look like when they put them all together on the court this year. They might look actually like I project number 12, and if that's the case, then by trade deadline, Trae's gone. You know what I mean?
Right,
He's gone.
right.
They got to for some pieces, for some draft picks. He's a trade piece at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who can afford him? Who can package something together to help them facilitate a move? That's going to be the major issue. But I don't see the team blowing their team up to get him. So he might end up just going to some mediocre, you know what I mean, organization, man, that he can't really affect powerful change in terms of playoff standings and championship contention. But we'll see. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it and I'm like 26-11, and it like doesn't mean anything. Those are pretty numbers, but it's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't think they got a roster either. I mean, you got Trey Young, you got Bogdanovich. That's like my second favorite player on that team.
Bogdanovich crazy in the Olympics, boy.
Oh boy, he gave us a run for the money until he started doing that 3 to the dome, and Melo had to be like,
chill with that.
Yo, light it up. He on the court, light him up.
Yeah, for real. Finish him.
Finish him. Steph said, I got you, big dog.
Yeah. Let me show him how it's really done.
Start raining them bitches from West Coast, boy, all the way to
for sure. For sure.
Paris.
True.
All right, gentlemen, we done with our sleepers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and finish it up before we open the phone lines with the out of bounds, the teams that aren't going to do anything. And I know one for sure is those damn Wizards.
You got the Wizards logo so big, bro. Why you so disrespectful with the Wizards? Why they got the biggest logo up there, bro? Why you size them down some, bro?
Man, it just happened that way, man. Nah, they just suck. I mean, plain and simple. They're just bad. They've been bad and they'll continue to be bad. They suck. I mean, there's no way around that. There's no way around that. Organization is cursed or something.
Hey, why you got the logo so big?
Why so large?
I don't even know, man.
I want to let y'all know who my out of bounds player team is.
Hey, Bruce, tell me you hate the Wizards without telling me you hate the Wizards. You know?
Nah, I really don't. I really don't. I'm just sick of Brandon talking about them. I mean, so in all seriousness, man, they're bad. The Wizards are out of bounds. The Nets are going to be out of bounds. Those are, and the Pistons are going to be out of bounds.
Keep naming Pistons.
Pistons,
Charlotte,
Nets, and
Toronto. I mean, we can name quite a few, quite a few of them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Portland. Chicago. I think you said Chicago, right?
Yeah. And I initially had Spurs in out of bounds, and then after we talked earlier, Transformer, I ended up moving them to sleepers.
I thought they could be a play-in team. For
so it was. They shouldn't be on this out of bounds thumbnail, but
my biggest out of bounds team, the Clippers.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Especially no Kawhi right now.
Kawhi might not play.
Bro, I had
his knee is already hemmed up. I'm like, good God, this dude is
hurts. Playing this season before the Kawhi announcement, before he was even the USA team. I just know that Paul George was such a huge part of their offense, shoring up their weaknesses and shoring up the fact that Kawhi wasn't playing full strength. Like that, man, once you lose Paul George, that's it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you got, you know what I mean? Now you're just relying on Terrence Mann, and he's got 4 points, and it's like, and to get you wins, and that's just they're out of bounds, bro. Beautiful new building, beautiful new facility, but out of bounds, bro.
That's nothing to do with it. Yeah. That's just that's so tough, man. Like I said, I don't know what they're gonna do. That's just they're in a bad spot.
How much they paying him again?
A lot.
Yeah. $49 million.
What was the stat I sent you earlier? He's missed 46% of his regular season games since 2017.
Wow. That's terrible.
That's awful, bro.
Yeah. I think he played like
King of LA
games with the Raptors and led them to the title. If not for that number would be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the slander for him would be a lot higher too. You know what I mean? But thankfully, he was able to win one in Toronto. Yeah. I said that in my last video that had it not been for championships are valued in a certain way. Had it not been for that San Antonio win and then going to Toronto and winning one for them, that's all over the media spaces. But that has some value. It's unfortunate for him that he just can't put it together, man. Health wise, I mean, but it is what it is. But yeah, I got my Brooklyn team. I got them out of bounds. Detroit's got a nice young core group of folks, but they are, like I said about the San Antonio team, where they're just super young. You know what I mean? So it's going to take them another season or two. But they got some great young talent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Talent. They'll be coming. Portland, of course, has a great young core as well, but they're so young that I think it's going to take them a season or two to figure it out. Yeah, Utah's on the fence. They on the bubble of just falling all the way off again. You know what I mean? Lauri Markkanen is out there, super good player. But I think because they could not move him in the offseason, they're probably just holding on to him. Likewise, he'll probably be a part of that Trae Young multiple team situation.
Yeah.
Finally
to go to Golden State.
Yep. Yeah.
According to his own commentary, Lauri Markkanen, he's excited about what Utah or what he thinks they are capable of doing. I don't see it, man. But that's he's a good basketball player.
Very good basketball player.
He's from Finland, right?
I'm not
he's from
sure.
Somewhere over yonder.
Yeah, he's from Scandinavia. This I know. But
he's from somewhere over yonder. I wanted to tell Steve, man. I know it's wild because Kawhi was the best two-way player in the league. Once upon one of the best or best. Think about Grant Hill, bro. Body just couldn't stand up.
No. I don't think he's saying. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's a great analogy, though.
Yeah, Grant Hill, like body just couldn't stand up anymore, man. And sometimes you got to call it. You got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. But if you pay me 40-something million a year, I'm gonna keep holding him.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Hey, I'm gonna keep holding him.
Talking about, man. Some of these owners, man. Anyway, you know what?
They need to look at the Zion Williamson contract, right? I think now what we're seeing from Kawhi Leonard, right, and now Joel Embiid, the way he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
They need to really start putting health in these contracts. Like injury history, it has to play a part of it. 46% of the games, and I'm about to give you a max contract twice because he got one. He got two max deals after that. 46%, G. I'm putting that in your contract. Like, bro, if you can't play more than 46% of these games, I'm cutting that money in half, bro. And I think that'll force Embiid to suck that shit up. Like, bro, you better play them fucking back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Y'all get
all
paid
this money
these dollars because of the fandom.
Stop it. Yeah.
The fandom, the networks, the show. That's what y'all get paid for, bro. And y'all don't want to play in the games, G?
Forget the fandom. I'm the owner and I'm paying you all this money. Get out there and play for me. Forget the fandom. Man, fuck you. I'm gonna cut these checks out here. Don't waste my money. Crazy.
Billionaires get too much money. Fuck them billionaires. Let me borrow $1 million. I'm jealous. I'm sorry, man. That's just my jealousy talking.
Oh, okay. Whatever works.
But no, man. I mean, billionaires. They got to come to the next CBA, boy. That's gonna be crucial. They're probably gonna look at that Zion Williamson contract. It's like, ooh, they put that stipulation in there. All right, Kawhi. All right, Joel Embiid. Y'all want to make these conversations? Like, all right, y'all want the max deal? We want to see maximum effort on you taking care of your body. Maximum effort on wanting to play these back-to-backs, because if not, if you don't want to play back-to-backs, cool. That's $5 million right there. We're just gonna take it out your check. Right. You was getting paid $51 million. Now you're gonna get paid $46 million this year, since you don't want to pay back-to-backs. Because now you want to take time off. I need money back, bro. I need money back, right? So I think it should be key. They should definitely take a look at that Zion Williamson contract.
Yeah, man. This whole thing is just. I do not like it, Sam. I am.
I do not like it, Sam. I am.
Yeah, it's just bad, man. And I don't know. Obviously, some guys are more durable than others, man. But this whole today's athletes are so much. Yeah, okay, miss me with that. Nah, I'm not buying it. Y'all got everything today's athletes, but you can't do what yesteryear's athletes could do. Nah, miss me with that.
You got everything but the desire to actually play the game, bro.
The heart, the will to want to keep going.
Yeah,
My high school coach, Doc Robinson, rest in peace to Doc. Doc used to say, "It's all about desire." You gotta have
it. yeah. You gotta have the want to.
Gotta have desire, man.
Edward Jackson, what does Stephen A say? Put it in the chat.
I think he got on Kawhi, or not got on him. I think he was saying like basically a similar thing to what we were saying.
Yeah, I wonder what he said. Lonzo Ball, former Lakers back. He sparked it up from 3 the moment he got back in the game. He been sparked, and you look at his form, like you look at his form from when we first drafted him. What was it, 2018, maybe? How long ago did we draft Lonzo? I think it was like 2018, somewhere around there.
It was a while ago.
18
but
when got out there. 18.
Yeah. So like to look at where his jumper used to come from left to right, and where he just able to pull that joint up straight. It looks so clean.
He did a lot of work on that, and that's
it looks so clean.
Man.
I was anticipating Lonzo coming back, man. That's why I have them. I have them actually making a play in this season. I think that's going to be a very inspired comeback for that team. I think he's going to add
Chicago
that they need in the offensive pack that they need to get them at least in the play-in, that 9-10, somewhere in the 9-10.
But you don't think they still trade Zach?
Nah, nobody wants him.
True.
Nobody wants him, bro.
It's been tough to get off that deal, and the fact that he can't stay relatively healthy either.
Nope.
That's been really, really tough for him. I want to see. I need to see that Lloyd Marketing trade, man. That right now, that's a big piece, a big domino to fall in the NBA in the West.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see where that
right
goes.
Now, it's supposed to be Golden State.
Forward to that one.
That's going to tip the scales for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's the out of bounds, man. That's it. I think that's all we got. We touched everybody.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what we got. So what we'll do now, I'm gonna put it in the chat in case anybody's been waiting. 219-8264. I'm gonna go ahead and put the number in the chat. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. You can go ahead, call us. And Edward Jackson, G's not a Wizard fan. I don't think. Brandon Bryce, he was in the chat earlier. He's a big Wizard fan. Drive me crazy. But anyway, y'all can call in and give your thoughts on any of these topics. Beast from the East, Best of the West, Sleepers, Out of Bounds. Who, what team you think we may have missed, what team you're looking forward to seeing, and kind of what you think about any of the stuff we discussed tonight. Who you think might be the champion at the end of the year. What do you think are the Celtics' chances? What do you think are LeBron and the Lakers' chances? Just give us a call, 904-219-8264. And it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Let's get it.
Let's talk.
What?
I still can't believe the NBA is starting on Tuesday. This is going to be crazy. I don't know how we're going to cover all this. Got NBA, got college football, got NFL, got boxing. Crazy. Good thing we don't do baseball and freaking hockey. That would be.
Bro. These Laker games are gonna be rough.
Quick side note on
we
hockey.
Come on at 10.
I know, right? Quick side note on hockey. I did not realize until the other day, and I should have. Alex Ovechkin, if he stays healthy, will probably break the all-time goals scored record set by Wayne Gretzky this season.
Really?
I think it's 892, and I think he's like 42 goals away from breaking that. I never thought anybody would get that.
He's been a puck since he walked. Though.
Yeah. Grade 8 problem. Absolutely.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, that's one of those that I never thought that I would see that. Not that I'm a big hockey guy, but I never thought that I would see that. It's funny. I always if you go back to I think my very first podcast, one of the things I did a little segment and I made the argument that Wayne Gretzky was better at hockey than Michael Jordan was at basketball. Because you won't hear any argument about who's the best hockey player of all time. You hear argument about who's the best basketball player. And the things Wayne Gretzky did was just so far out of reach for every other player. It's almost like he's the Wilt of hockey statistically. It's crazy how good that dude was. So but hockey, like all the other sports, I think they also made rules changes to boost the offense as well. So it's kind of damn. Are there any sports that we can truly and fairly compare across the eras? But I don't think there's any left because the rules have changed in all of them. So it's as great as that accomplishment is going to be, I'm pretty sure if you talk to some of the hockey old timers or, the aficionados who are really well versed in the sport, they're going to tell you that as great an accomplishment as that is, you will ping pong. You will hear some of them
tennis.
say, but. Tennis. That's a good one.
Yeah, tennis. Yeah,
I think you
really do much of that. That's one-on-one. Right there.
No, I don't think so. Edward Jackson. I hate I can't call him Bruce, but I know you say I don't watch baseball. I know Aaron Judge hit 62 homers this year. Crazy. Do you think the home run record will be broken? What is it? 76 now? Is that Barry Bonds? Is it 76?
What, in a season or like total?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Edward, are you talking about all time, or are you talking
I know he
about
was all time.
in a season? I think he's got both. I think he's got like 76 in a season, and I want to say like 756 or 765 for a career. All time. Oh, I don't know. So, Steve, I'm not gonna debate baseball because I'm not well versed in the sport. I'm not gonna say he's the GOAT. I'm not gonna say he's not. My only issue is like we know he juiced up, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I knew he had both. Yeah, we know he juiced up, so it's kind of like that one is tough for me. How we evaluate that, but I'll leave that to the baseball people. But
leave that to the baseball people, like his.
Yeah.
Can I add something
to the baseball people?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Q.
I think that it wouldn't be such a big deal, man, if they just told us that players were using PEDs.
Mm-hmm.
Such a big deal. Then I don't think I would be so critical of, you know what I mean, like knowing that somebody had superhuman ability. If they just that everybody was taking them, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I might can get behind being like, damn, taking the juice made him do that. Then you know what I mean, popping a couple pills or taking a shot made this joker run fast or jump that high. Like, let me see how high they can go. You know what I mean? I could probably get behind it. But I can hide it, you know what I mean? And it's like, don't tip the scales that way and not tell us, you know what I mean? So I respect it. Oh, it. Just tell us, you know what I mean? Don't lie. But watching the home run waste McGuire and Sammy Sosa back in the day was crazy. You know
I remember that. That was 1998. I definitely remember that. I used to come home from work, and I'm not a baseball guy, but I used to immediately turn on ESPN to see if like the numbers changed while I was at work.
They had full games because I wanted to see it, and to just that a decent batting average. And I'm not a huge baseball guy either, but I know. I mean, you could be thought of as a great baseball player with like a 250 average batting average or something.
Isn't that crazy?
To watch a batter step up and knock a home run out the park almost every time up was absurd. I'm like, yo, locked in whole time.
Right. Yeah,
whole time sauce gods.
Hey Bruce, why do you call him allegations? Didn't he get caught, or did he pop? Yeah, if he popped, those aren't allegations. Like that means he did that. Interesting. Still was that much better than everyone. Yeah, I remember hearing that he was really great, even when he was young with the Pirates, and he was I'm not gonna say skinny, but not Diesel Bonds with the Giants, but when he was young with the Pirates, he was still supposed to be very good. I think he was in 35, 40 home runs in a year, but then later on he starts hitting 70 something. Okay, there you go. 73 record. Okay, and 762. That was close.
What was that, Q?
I said Griffey was he was knocking joints out there too. So it's I think the big question for Bonds would be, when did he start juicing? You know what I mean? So that's why people don't really give him the respect, despite records. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, what can you do, man, if everybody's juicing to somebody's comment to the point of something that somebody made in the chat, man? If everybody's doing it, it's never been a clean era, you know, or in sports in general, then you can't penalize everybody or anybody for doing it. You know what I mean? Either you allow everybody to do it, or you tell us that this is what they're doing so that we understand it, so nobody can be critical about it, or you just snatch all these dudes' records. You don't do it retroactively and make somebody look bad when everybody's doing it, but just because they weren't caught, you know what I mean? It's not being that's not cool.
I think the only problem with that is, and that makes a lot of sense, the only problem is, even if you say, okay, it's legal in the sport, that still doesn't mean everybody's going to do it, right? So you have some people that are performing at a disadvantage. So it's like, but at the end of the day, you still have to hit the ball, which apparently is a very difficult thing to do. But
very hard.
Yeah, but some people will say, okay, that might have been a base hit. Now you're knocking it out the park because you juiced up. So I don't know. I really don't care that much about baseball to be spending this much time discussing it.
Fun to play, born to watch.
Neither.
Basketball, you know what I mean? To begin with, I don't have the mechanics and I don't have the, you know what I mean, the depth perception and the skills. would it matter? You know what I mean? It's like he's taking all the PEDs in the world, but he can't.
Yeah.
He just don't feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, who cares?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right, well, it looks like we're not gonna get any calls on this. Maybe we should open up the phone lines after each segment. But okay, so look, y'all, appreciate everybody who hung in there with us. This has been our NBA what do we call this thing?
Kickoff?
Our NBA season preview.
There you go.
You know what's funny? Hey, real quick before we get out of here, do y'all want to go ahead and just for craps and giggles, who you think is going to win the championship? I have no idea, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, man.
I have no idea.
No,
I think it's wide open this year, more so than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, but I have no idea. That's why I'm excited to see it, because I think that the parity in the league across the board, man, across both conferences, incredible. Yeah, I think something happened with Transformers camera, man. He just zoomed.
I think so too, man. It's going crazy, like something happening to his.
Nah, man, Fly was in here.
I know he ain't trying to late at all this year.
Yeah, that's not.
Dalton Connect for MVP.
Dalton Connect for MVP,
Oh,
baby. LeBron James for comeback player of the year.
Hey, didn't Bronny have like 5 tonight? He's turning a corner, y'all.
Oh no, man. I mean, there ain't nobody playing tonight.
Oh my goodness, nah. You know what, man? In all seriousness, that young
actually,
man
he got 13, by the way. He's actually 6 for 12.
He's got 13? Okay,
he got 13, 4-1.
Okay.
But they're getting cooked though.
You know what's funny though? They are, but he needs this game desperately for his confidence, just to play well against other NFL players. Yeah, man. NBA players.
Your mind is on it. Yeah.
It is. And the funny thing, I was literally just about to say, like, in all seriousness, I'm hoping at some point, like, the kid plays well and has an opportunity to just Steve is an idiot. I was about to do that too. Oh my God,
in the
Steve
title.
is an idiot.
Lamar Jackson for NBA MVP.
Oh, that's classic. That's a good one, Steve. I love it.
He isn't wrong. He is not wrong.
Wrong.
He is not wrong, man. I like this
fantastic
answer right here, though. Screenshot that, Laker Nation. That's a good answer right there. Very great answer. Right there, right?
Okay, that said, back to Bronny though. I'm happy for the kid that he had it. This is the type of game he really needed. Now, does this mean he's going to become Michael Jordan? Of course not. But he really needed this just to say, like, okay, I'm okay. I took a deep breath. This has been my best performance so far as a pro. This is something to build on, and that's good for the young fella. So I'm not mad at that at all, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to see the ball go in, right?
Yeah,
like you need to have that one game, like, all right, damn it. All right, it's there. It is. I know I can do it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, some players are different. Let's not forget. I mean, kid could have he really should have went undrafted, but it's still a 55th pick. Like the expectations are just a little too high right now. You know, like get a kid a little time, man. I
don't even think the expectations are too high because everybody knows he shouldn't be there. But like, I don't know if anybody thought it would have been that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, this is good, man. This is good. Even though, to your point, they're getting blown out, he still needed this. So
yeah, no, absolutely. He's the second leading scorer on the team right now. 13, 4 rebounds, an assist, a block, a steal, just one turnover. I mean, it's a pretty good game. I mean, you need, like you said, man, you just need those type of games. You need to see the ball go in.
Yeah, man. Good for him. And I mean that. I'm not even trying to be funny. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna leave it right here. So none of us have any idea who's going to win the freaking NBA championship this year.
It's up in the air, bro.
Again, but I have no idea. I suppose they got to be the favorite, but I don't anticipate a repeat. If I'm honest, I really don't know.
All right, we're back into that era of basketball to where there's no clear cut, like one or two teams was like, bro, it's going through them. Like it's really a lot more parity. And from the top to bottom, like we saw, like in the Western Conference alone, like, you're battling and clawing to get to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Now you like 9-10. The play-in is gonna be like, yo, we're 45 win team and we in the play-in. Last year, the Lakers, we were 47 win team. And we fighting to get into the freaking 8th seed, right? You know what I'm saying? So, it's really a lot of parity in these in both conferences, man. But honestly, it's gonna be who's healthy, who's not in the East. And in the West, the depth. I think the depth in of who's in the West is going to come out. Like depth is going to play a big part in who's coming out of the Western Conference.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, well, let's go ahead and we'll leave it right here. Q, man, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on the NBA and what it's going to look like. It looks okay. All right, Steve.
Denver wins in 6.
All right. That's good. I don't like the end result, but we'll see. We'll see.
Of course you don't. I love it.
I know you do.
Goddamn Skippy.
Say again.
He said Denver v. Boston. Denver.
Yeah, he said Denver versus Boston, and Denver wins in 6. That's all right. Well, we'll find out.
Good.
We'll find out. But yeah, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening to what we had to say, listening to us, quote unquote, bloviate about the NBA and this upcoming season. We really enjoyed kicking it here with y'all. So we're gonna see you next time, man. Transformer, we on tomorrow night? I'm freaking dying.
Tonight, actually, because we're already into the new day. Tonight, today's Saturday already.
I got you Saturday. So we will see y'all later tonight.
Later tonight, but we're gonna try to keep it short and sweet, man. As you guys can see, we was up to about 12 at night. Man. I got a freaking 5K walk in the morning, actually in about 8 hours. For breast cancer awareness. Me and my wife are gonna wear our pink shirts out there, ribbons up, and things like that.
Where you doing that?
Huh?
Where you doing that?
Downtown.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a walk downtown. So
okay. If there's anybody in Jacksonville, I think it's just me and Transformer. But if there's anybody on here who's in Jacksonville, the air show is at Naval Air Station Jacksonville this weekend. It'll be open to the public, so you can go check out the Blue Angels and doing all their neat tricks and all that stuff. It's actually a pretty cool show. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, those Navy pilots get it done, man. They get it done. But yeah, y'all have a great night for the rest of your night. And
yeah. I mean, what you said, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean.
Yes, Steve. We are watching Notre Dame later today. That is correct. But anyway, yeah, y'all have a great night. We will see y'all later on for our normal Saturday night show. And yeah, be safe out there. And we out. Peace.
I got it. I know. I got it.
All right, fam.
Peace.
Peace.